She was lucky,
All right.
she didn't say
The
anything.
meeting will now come to order. We'll all stand and say the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at this point in time, I would like to have a moment of silence for the tornado victims in Oklahoma and any other catastrophes. We had a number of them lately, so. Okay, God bless their souls. Unfortunately, we go through what we think are catastrophes, but those things are just horrendous. I guess if you haven't really gone through one and been in it, then.
Mind-blowing kind of fits, I think.
What?
Mind-blowing, I think that description kind of fits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so, in a certain way.
Yeah, it's hard to even imagine what.
Okay, before I get to you, I would like to thank all the people that participated in Memorial Day on Sunday. As you well know, it was fairly well attended this year. In fact, I think it was perhaps better than it was last year, and hopefully next year will also be better. I'm thankful the fire department had a fairly large contingent of people there, which I think is a credit to the department. The police department was there, all the members of that department. So I think we had a good representation from the town, and there were a number of people that did remark about the departments and their participation, and veterans. This year there were a large number of veterans, I think, more so than have been in the past. So, plus there are 4 veterans that are World War II veterans that also were involved. So I think David's father is one of them. And then Eddie Arho, naturally, and the gentleman, Grippiati from, Richard Grippiati from Ashby, and then Francis Naomi. So I want to thank everybody that participated. You can add anything you want. Thank Meredith for singing, because I think she did an excellent job.
Yeah, rumor has it.
So did the Visa girls at Appleton, so all in all, you missed it. That was a good thing.
I did make
You did partake of Smithville, which was also a good,
Yeah, the turnout was larger there too. I thought there was a large turnout this year than there also.
yeah, it was getting dismal there for a couple of years for some unknown reason, so. Okay. I guess if anything else, we can wait until afterwards. David,
Yes, sir.
you are here because of the,
And you told me to come.
the Board of Selectmen asked you to, and they also had, a while back, had made a motion to remove the equipment and so forth out of the building downtown, right?
That is
The
correct.
highway garage.
Yeah.
And you stated on a number of occasions in the past, and probably will in the future again, the reasons why you don't feel that you should take that out of there. So,
When it first came up in conversation with Mike and I, we talked about it a few times. And I, told him at least early on anyway, he said certainly would be willing to consider it, which I have thought about it a lot. The 3 of us have talked about it quite a bit and thought about it. And I think we all 3 agree that we're much better off right where we are.
Okay.
And our choice would be to not move.
You want to state your reasons. You had some other reasons at one point. I think you felt that it was easier access in the case of an emergency.
Well, it is one reason. It's about 400 feet away from the fire station, as
Okay.
compared to a mile. And if you move the equipment from there to up here, now if we need something that's parked up here, you gotta drive to the fire station, get the key, drive up here, get the piece of equipment, and then head off to wherever you're going, rather than just walking across the road.
How much, probably not a fair question, how much do you use, what's in there right now? Why don't you just list what's in there?
At the moment,
The bolts in there.
we have, at the moment, there's a,
Right?
huh?
the boat doesn't have a key, does it?
No, no key.
No, but somebody's gotta tow it.
I know.
We have our old tankers in there. That truck is in there, we have the boat one of the boats in there, the other one's back in the fire station. Then there's 2 trailers, our hazmat trailer and the command trailer are in there. And the rest of the building's full of various, miscellaneous types of equipment, all our booms and pads and things for hazmat cleanup, they're all stored over there. Some some extra hoses stored in there, some couple of pumps that are in there. It's pretty full of stuff.
Derek, do me a favor and shut that door, please. Thank you.
I
Okay,
mean-
you have some comments.
Yeah, of course I do.
Go ahead.
Obviously, the whole idea behind putting the stuff in that building is that we're heating that building already.
Mhm.
Why are we heating 2 buildings? Do
I
we need, if you have an old tanker in there and it's drained, do you leave the tanker there all year round
It's
full?
there year round and it's full of water.
See, that become, how often do you use the old tanker? I mean,
And, well, it varies.
Okay, this last month, how often have you used it?
This past month, we haven't. We've used it for training. We haven't used it for training, but because we haven't had any calls that warranted using it.
How about this year?
Probably haven't used it, right?
Yeah, we used
You
it,
did?
was that up in, when was that
Where?
brush
You-
fire up on, right across from Windblown, wasn't that this past year? It was last spring, so, we used it there.
Within the past 12 months, it's been used, yes.
Well,
Really used
How
it.
many
But
times,
it's-
how many times, I wouldn't
No,
know
but the example that you just gave is that you have to go up to Windblown anyway, so if it was in that heated building there, you're driving right by the town office, you pick up the tanker. I think in an emergency situation, yes, you want to make sure you can handle that situation as soon as possible. It's just the financial aspects,
So what's it cost to heat that
how
building?
much did it cost to heat that building, Michael?
I don't have the exact figure on me. I didn't realize,
Cause I'm
Anyway.
guessing that the money you would save in
What?
heating the building, you're gonna spend in getting apparatus up here to get equipment.
You think so?
Yeah,
but
to take it down,
isn't the tanker
I think it was
self-driven?
It was between
Yeah,
$1,400
but
and
somebody's gotta
$1,500 for
come
heat, right,
get it.
David?
bring it back down. So say we're gonna take the boat, say the boat's up here.
You got the figure, David?
The heat,
It's between.
$1,100, $1,185, $1,200,
Alright.
$1,200.
Okay.
I thought it was 14.
For heat.
Alright.
Electricity was $262, and part of that goes to that outside light that's lit all the time.
Most of this came about when this first started, was because of
Mhm.
building 2 and what was going
Yep.
on there. Obviously, things have changed in the landscape that you're not gonna be in building 2, and I understand the purpose of wanting that there. But on the other side, as a selectman, I have to be fiscally responsible to the people of the town also.
Yeah, understand that perfectly, and I'm all for saving money.
What's your
You
opinion?
just think back, if you remember, just back to a February candidates night with 2 other people running against me for chief, and I was the only one that wasn't talking about spending more money. So, and everybody that's on the department can attest to the
Yeah,
fact
no,
that we have a small budget and I'm cheap.
the thing is,
I'm all for saving money, but I don't believe in putting money in front of before safety.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say that, you can't be cheap when
You
you're
know, if
talking
it was
public safety.
$5,000, $10,000, now that's a whole
Yeah.
different story. To me, 1,400, or round numbers, I'll even, give you a little extra, say $1,500 a year to me is,
It's not a
when it
huge
comes to
deal.
life safety, that's a drop in the bucket.
Are there any other, let's see, you got a tanker in there, you got the boat in there, you got 2 trailers. Now,
Yes, the tank and the brush truck's in there during the winter.
What vehicle do you use to pull the trailer if you have to pull it?
Rescue,
Hmm?
rescue.
The rescue
Rescue
or
car.
possibly the Explorer,
So,
if it's available. Depends on where it's going and
but
what
it's not hooked up to the trailer all the time, that's for sure.
Well, it's on the trailer, yeah.
No, the rescue truck.
No, the trailer's not hooked on anything all the time.
Even the boats, if you had to come up here to get the boat, you'd have to send the rescue up here, get the boat, take it, then you'd have to take it down there to maintenance it, clean it after every call, and then bring it back up here again. Same with the
So that's,
hazmat
what
trailers.
do you,
Yeah.
what do you feel, Gary?
Well, I mean, it's easy, as far as maintenance even, cause it's 400 feet away, when we have our training and stuff, someone will always run across and
Mhm.
just open the door and check on everything.
Mhm.
If it's up here out back, it's out of sight, out of mind, and, there's a chance it's gonna get left up there, and with the boat, there's a lot of valuable equipment in there, and you hate to see some kids get into it, you know. If it's parked in the green center, there's a potential for, vandalism and whatnot, or maybe not intentional, but.
Okay, let me ask you a question then, as far as, would it be reasonable or even feasible to leave it in there during the summer downtown and then put it up there in the winter, up here in the winter, or is that a possibility? It's a.
We can, during the winter.
You're more liable to use these things during the good weather, I know, I'm sure of that.
Not
You're not gonna
necessarily.
use that tanker much in the winter, I don't believe.
Well, it depends.
Depends
We
what
had
kind of
serious
oil you have.
fires, we had serious fires, it goes
Use
up,
it at-
it goes to all serious
Did you
fires.
use that Hills Road?
We didn't know,
Oh, okay.
because that's one of the trucks that
Well,
not
that's
every,
just-
that's one of the
I'm not-
trucks not everybody can drive.
I'm not telling you that
And,
that's a possibility of doing that, I thought, but. if
Well,
you-
one thing, you know, Gary mentioned about the green center,
People.
something to think, well, yeah, well, the people in there, you get, you know, the kids running around. And we're certainly not, you know, saying that something's gonna happen, but, you know, parents are going around looking at, they're doing their shopping or whatever you wanna call it when they're in there,
But
kids
that-
can take off, they don't know what the kids are getting into.
The fence at the green, before the equipment would go up there, there's a fence in there.
Mhm.
That fence would be completely finished to the wall though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, there should be a separation between, you know, if we were gonna put equipment up there, you have to look out for the protection of the equipment too.
See, I'm not even sure how much heat gets in there in the wintertime in that end over there, it probably.
It's pretty cold in there, I can tell you that.
Huh? Cool?
And one, gets cold, it's not real hot in there in the winter.
That's what I
But
said.
also, you know, with the green center being in there, one thing to be cognizant of is the exhaust from the equipment running.
Okay,
When I get into the clothing and everything that's in there,
yeah,
if we have to go in there, say on a Saturday and get something out of there, they're gonna fire it up, it's gonna fill the building full of smoke, there's gonna be people in there, and it's gonna fill the building full of exhaust when we leave, and
Meredith.
I kinda see this almost in the same way as when you didn't want to put our other pieces of apparatus up here, like move the whole fire department at one point. We had talked about some kind of public safety thing up here, and one of the issues was people coming in and out of the town office and the access and the egress and stuff. So now you're saying you wanna put some of our emergency stuff up here, that we've still got that same issue. So if these guys have to come up and get something on an emergency call, we're still dealing with that same thing. Guys are gonna be coming in, and we got people that might be coming in and out of the town office and the entrances and stuff.
Yeah,
So that egress issue is still here.
It's always gonna be there
Yeah.
until it
So
changes
now you're
somehow.
jeopardizing
Yeah.
again public safety
Yeah,
in some
and
ways.
even with, even about the egress, you know, I actually wasn't sure what the heating number was. Not that, you know, to someone that's paying their mortgage and stuff, that $1,200, $1,300 isn't a lot of money, but I don't think the savings that you make to save 15 minutes of time when it's you know, when it could be a life and death situation is something, I mean,
What are you saying now? Just
I-
get it, leave it where it
yeah, I
is?
think we should. I mean, and the
Well, I
reason.
don't have a problem with doing
Oh,
that.
you know, you mentioned about life safety, saving a life, minutes count, and in some circumstances, seconds can even count.
Oh, yeah.
And I do just wanna throw this out anyway, the town meeting of 2009, the voters voted to keep that building, and it was there for the use of the fire department as long as they needed it.
All right, that was the warrant article?
It was a warrant article, the town meeting 2009.
Well, if you were
So to
told.
do anything other than that, now you'd be going against the voters of the
So-
town.
You're
So
talking
you
about the
go to-
deliberative session?
I'm talking about voting day
Was that warrant
2009.
article? Was in the warrant article?
Yes, it was.
George, help us out with that.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
if I,
was.
Yes, it
Book's back,
was.
the book's right back there on the shelf, you look at two
No,
thousand
I'm
nine, you'll
not
see it in
doubting
there.
you.
no.
You probably already researched it.
did his
before you
homework.
came.
I have.
But
I
talking
have.
about minutes and seconds, I probably wouldn't have wasted 15 minutes of your life if I had that information.
We haven't seen each other in a long time.
But
Nice to
when
see
we
you.
first talked about, you know,
All right.
Well, I hadn't thought about it back then.
Revisit your motion.
Hmm?
Revisit your motion, if you're going to change it.
Revisit the motion.
Yes, make a motion to
I
revisit.
gotta find it first.
It's right there in the, great.
Yeah.
Mike needs to revisit.
Oh, yeah. Any other business that may come before the board, that's where it was listed. Selectman Conlon would like the equipment that's in the old highway building moved to the current highway garage, the Green Center section, and move the equipment in the Green Center to the Sally Port and building number 2, which didn't do. The other board members concur, and Selectman Conlon made a motion to move the emergency management trailer to the Sally Port and building 2, cover the poly sheeting if need be, and authorize the highway department to clean out the equipment at the Green Center and move it to building number 2 and move the equipment from the old highway garage to the Green Center. Selectman Cargill, second, that motion carried.
So do I need him here to second my new motion?
No.
No,
I'll
he
second.
voted yes, so he
I'll
can second.
I'm just,
I'll second
I
it.
know.
Just,
So you
she
need to
just
make a
wants to
motion
make
to
sure that-
Actually,
we all understand the way it
I
went
understand.
down, okay?
can I say that, please?
Yes, of course.
I'll make a motion that we will keep the fire emergency equipment in the old highway department. And the emergency management trailer can actually be moved back into the garage area at the Green Center.
I don't even think you need to do
But,
that at that
but you
point.
know what, instead of leaving it outside, they have the room for it, might as well put it back in there instead of having it weathered outside.
Well, you can put it down there in the Green Center
Yeah.
if that's what Jim wants.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if it's outside there in this
Well,
kind of weather anyway. He just didn't want it
As
in
long
that.
as long as Jim Hicks wants the trailer moved back in, that's my motion.
Okay, he didn't want it in that building because of the fact that if there's mold in there, so forth, here you are using that,
Room ahead of
that
it.
for, health purposes, if nothing else, and emergencies and all that stuff, and then
Yep.
you could end up with a
No,
contaminated.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
Has
That's
all
why-
the cot-
Communications
it has a- it's
trailer.
full
No, thank
cot,
you.
so
Yeah.
It's full of, canvas cots.
Oh, I know.
I
But
said,
they,
I don't
they could
know
get,
what's inside of
they
this.
could get contaminated too, you know, that was the point, that's why in that motion there, I think I was the one that actually said we should cover it with poly plastic and make sure that it wasn't,
No, it says that,
Susceptible.
Selectman Conlon said that.
I don't think so.
Oh, I
That's
do.
okay,
You want me to get it on YouTube for you?
no, go ahead.
Alright, you
You
gonna
did
second
it,
my
you
motion?
did it, you can have the credit for it.
You gonna second my motion?
I did already,
Right.
I seconded it, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried 2-0.
Thank you very
You
much,
guys
gentlemen.
go home.
Anything
Thank
else
you.
you, anything
Anything
else
else
you'd
to
like
find
to,
out?
I say anything else you'd like to hear while we're here?
Oh, actually, yeah, I do have a question.
Oh, I have a question for you.
Alright, you can go first.
No, go ahead.
No, then, because I can change my other question.
And I didn't even ask these guys yet, because we talked a little bit about it. What does it take does it take a warrant article, or what does it take in order to make some kind of requirements for candidates that want to run for fire chief? Because right now, we have no requirements. They don't even have to live in town, they don't have to be firefighters, they don't have to have any
No, I
knowledge.
have to live in town. Where do you get that
I
from?
think they have to live in town.
Yeah, we have to be a voter.
Oh, they have to be a voting member,
You gotta be
you're
a
right.
registered voter.
But they don't have to
vote.
have any knowledge about fire, they don't have to know anything about the department, they
That's
don't
just
have to be
like
members.
coming to be a selectman, you don't have to really know what to do either.
Well, that's funny, because someone asked me about how do you change to go from an elected to appointed in that position too.
For what? Fire
Fire
chief?
chief, yeah.
I know we tried to do that a few years ago.
Oh, I
and
don't,
that
I don't want
didn't-
no part of
that
it.
didn't fly.
It's been tried a couple different times.
Yeah.
We're not
The
looking
voters
for
have-
that.
Voters have always said
I
no.
don't think,
I think
I
we're
would
just
rather-
looking for people with some knowledge and some training, rather than, oh, but I can be fire chief, and you really can't, because you,
I mean, it'd
the
be
life
kinda,
safety codes and all the things that
don't
they.
you think it'd be kinda ludicrous to elect a fire chief that's had no experience whatsoever as a firefighter or anything? No
Yeah, I would
training
agree with that.
Yeah,
I would agree with that, yeah.
Against another person that has
Yeah,
like.
one thing that might be
years.
beneficial is if you change it from 1 year to a 3-year term, so
There
it's
you go.
like every other position in town.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I think that would have to go.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you'd have to go, that would have to be done.
And then
that
what
way.
about prerequisite knowledge or training or anything like that? Is that something that has to go before the voters
I
too?
don't think the state law says that, does it?
It would be advisory only, you cannot have one on there, state requirements for the position.
No, because it's
You
not,
can, it'd just be advisory only,
huh?
it wouldn't be legally.
It's not right.
Yeah, it wouldn't be binding.
No.
No, because the
bylaws for like promotion within your department?
Well, we're working on those right now, trying to come up with some minimum standards for training for all of our line officers and minimum years of experience and all that.
Couldn't you put in like maybe like a bylaw that says, you know, what we would want as a fire chief?
But
And
then
with
it
training and,
doesn't, that's, again, it's non-binding, if we can't,
that's
if we
advisory,
can't
no,
put
it's
something
elected
into the,
position.
Can only go by what the law allows you to do. You know that law better than I do. What does it say?
154,
Yeah.
I read it a few times.
Alright, now
The appointed part of it is
somebody said it took a
something else, but
warrant
you gotta
article
get
in
through
order to-
town meeting first before you can do an appointment.
Yeah.
All right.
just
Is
ask.
there anything else?
Wow.
Yeah,
No,
Mike's
I-
got something.
Go.
Are we still on the stipend policy of payroll or?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
And everyone's information and data is all perfect?
it is,
Alright.
it is, everything is,
You got everything that you need.
it took us some time, but
Oh, it's,
we
it's
did
hard
finally,
to
we
do.
got everything, we
We
got
are
everything
in-
all together.
We're in
Oh, yeah,
full
kept her
compliance with all the departments and everything else, and she's gonna make sure that with lifeguards and all that stuff, she's
Mhm.
already told them, how many times? That you don't put anybody to work until they've done all the paperwork, everything. Don't leave anything out, and if they're kids, 15, 16, whatever,
You have to get
you gotta get the parental permission plus
Yep.
the schools. You have to go to the
Yeah,
school.
I will just, I'll just update you on a few things if you want.
Yeah, you got time.
Yep,
The Red Sox don't come on till 8 o'clock tonight, but
When's the hockey game?
sorry, we got plenty of time.
that's right.
Yeah, the department is going along very well, you know, contrary to some of the stuff that was in the paper back in March. It's going along very well. Membership is still the highest it's been in quite some time. We are going to lose some young members this summer. We have, one's already left the month of May to go into the Navy, and we have two others that are gonna be leaving this summer as soon as they graduate from high school to go into the military. It'll be sad to see them go, sorry to see them leave, but we're very proud of them and proud of the fact that they're gonna, you know, go into the military and attempt to get a good education and get paid to do it at the same time.
did they start as explorers?
A couple of them did, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, well, all but one did, all but one did.
Okay.
And,
That's
the
good.
Explorers, that group is doing better than it was. We're kinda low on numbers there for a little while, but the membership is back up.
How many you got now?
We have, well, without sitting and counting my fingers, I think we have like 7 or 8, which is
At one
very
point you
good.
had, what, 4 or 5?
We were down to 4, so that's much better, that's growing.
I think the maximum we were gonna take was 8, wasn't it? So-
10, the maximum we had planned on taking is 10 anyway.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's probably kinda hard if you go beyond that, right?
well, it's difficult, the more you get there, it's harder to just keep track of what's going on.
Anything else?
You know, as far as like attendance at meetings and drills is very, very good. The response to calls is excellent, it's the best, it's the best it's been in many, many years.
Right
You
now?
know, we've had times when, you know, if we get one truck out with a full crew on it, we've been pleased, and now
I remember those
we
days.
can, we can get 3 trucks out and have people left over besides, so.
Good. That's
Things are
good.
going, things are going very, very
Well,
well.
it means that something's going in the right direction.
Yeah,
Anyway, you know.
Mike did hit on the stipend things, I'll just pass this along. This is the time now that I'm working on the first set of stipend checks. But they are gonna be, the payroll will be submitted a little bit later this year because,
The town administrator, is that what you're gonna say?
well, between the town administrator and the town treasurer, they have asked that we keep spending to a minimum because
No, I
the
know
balance
that.
in the checkbook is
It was very low, to be honest with
it's
you.
running low and it's getting to be, you know, tax bills will be coming out soon. and-
One fear we had was that we wouldn't be able to make a June payment to the school, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie to you, that's one of the
So
fears.
just for that, you know, I'm gonna hold off
Thank you.
a week or 2 weeks or whatever it takes to, you know, for the bank balance to come back.
Monies are coming in slowly, to be honest with you right now, but,
Well,
So
I'm
the
sure they
town's
probably
imitating life?
continue.
The town's imitating life.
yeah. but
Exactly.
The other thing I didn't wanna do, and I don't know about Michael, but was to go out and
Tax
take a tax
anticipation.
anticipation note, which is a short term.
No, I haven't had to do that too much the last few
The
years.
last
so-
time was when the tax bills were late that year in 2000, whatever it was now, 7, 8, when was it?
That was before.
That was,
Yep.
yeah, and, that was just a short-term thing, but that's the only time in the last, ever since we went to semi-annual, actually. We never did it when you were the tax collector,
No, sir.
no. Once that semi-annual kicked in, then it made a great big difference, the cash flow was pretty even keel all the way across, so. That's the reason why, we've asked you not to spend it any more than you have to, payroll and.
Well, I told her, we had a lot staff meeting last week, you know, Roberta asked everybody to
I know she did.
behave, you know.
She
when it comes to
does
spending
listen to
money.
me now and then. Don't forget, I've been through this many times before, David.
Let's make that happen.
What, her listening?
She doesn't know him that well yet.
She don't know me, she's only been here for 8, 10, 9 weeks, whatever it is.
All right, if you guys have any other questions for us, anything else you wanna talk about when we're here, or?
I don't think so, I think that as long as it's going on an even keel and your morale is high and the
Yeah.
attitudes are right up there, at one point, I think everybody was wondering what was gonna happen.
Well, we were,
I don't know, well,
with the three of us, have been a little curious at times too, but,
And you still,
Things that-
you still have about the same membership, what, 33, 32?
30,
Or did you just hire some, have another fire?
well, actually, we do, I have an application sitting on my desk for a person.
You told me.
And I said, we have the 3 that are,
Mhm.
if they do end up going, which I'm sure they will,
Wow.
leave during the summer to go off to the military, they'll bring us down to about 33. But we were up to 35,
You did get to 35?
we did.
That's good, because that's pretty much what it's been for the last, how many years?
Well, the highest the membership ever was 1978,
That's a
and
long
that
time
was,
ago.
yeah, counting the chief, that was 36.
On the chief?
And we got up to 35, and I said, boy, 2 more people, and we could set a new record.
Would you do count him twice or once?
Well, you could have counted 3 times if you wanted, he was a big man, but just one.
The truck lean like that?
It did.
we're making all kinds of changes in the
I'm
station.
No,
Yeah.
he was a good guy. He was a fire chief.
Doing a little changing, some remodeling, some stuff in the fire station,
Oh,
again, to
Cleaning
make best use of the space we do have, so.
okay. Good, all right. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
gentlemen. Appreciate what you do. Come back again.
Not that it was fun, but the hockey games.
Just keep singing, Meredith.
Thank you.
I'm gonna begin in my New Hampshire hazardous waste coordinator's license.
Yeah, cool.
All right, Michael.
I'll stop it.
Michael, you familiar with the impact?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
What
You
Peter
made
has
s'mores in
done
the microwave,
with the
didn't
room
they tell you?
This can be confidential, you know.
the money on our impact fees.
I stopped
This
over
one
and
you
then
got
I
right
told
now.
to the fire station on
For impact fees,
It
these are the
says
ones that
hiring
don't wanna pay it.
Can't ask for
Okay.
someone to come in. Make sure not less.
You can take, he needs, well, the little first note he left you was 3,200, but he needs some more. Besides, you wanna know if it's not gonna culvert, do you have any objections? Buying culvert for this $24,000?
It's gonna be a tough decision.
It's gonna, okay, let me just, for impact fees, it's too, trying to think how does it work?
It works, well,
I mean,
It's supposed to-
you're
you-
improving,
roads.
yeah, I mean, obviously, I know.
To be honest with you, it's supposed to be for the
For the greater
possible
good.
roads that these people lived on, where they were impacted, or where they.
Or
by
or
building.
roads that are adjoining to them that
Yeah.
they funnel off of.
Okay, so, he's got a number of culverts that he's gonna be putting in throughout the town anyway, in fact, they already started digging, I don't know if he's put any in.
No, I would have no problem with that.
Did he talk to you about this?
Nope.
You haven't seen him?
I'm not.
All right, so, the only thing we don't know is what action you're gonna take here with these 4 that
Well, that's something we can discuss.
insist that they shouldn't pay it, but anyway, that's another. So you don't have a problem with using this?
Nope.
How about giving
I-
this to the school?
I
You
think
were here when we
that-
did it
when we did it
last
last
time.
time, I think we
Do
should
you
do that
remember how
again.
it was done? The formula, I don't remember the formula.
It was based on the size of the school, because they serve more people in the school. You have to, and you can use it because you have the, you should have said something when Gary was here, because Gary was involved in it also.
Well, I know, but he doesn't remember either, because I already asked him.
Have you talked to,
Jennifer,
yeah,
I did, yes.
alright,
Covered all the bases just for you, 'cause I knew you weren't gonna be able to do it.
I've been busy. Hey, I'm here, right?
Roberta heard me.
right, Roberta?
I did.
I mean, what I would do is I'd just call Benny, he has the formula.
Well, she's looking for it down there, plus we were looking here, but Beverly couldn't find,
That was two
we
thousand,
she found where she wrote the check, it was 2008, 2010. 11.
2011.
The check was written in December of 2011 through the town. So what you do is you
Well,
take
no,
this,
you know what, no, when did we set the tax rate? November, don't we set-
October, November.
Yeah,
We
so,
didn't pay the school until.
no, we didn't pay the school, but we did all the work before that because we had that on our tax rate to adjust the tax rate.
You had,
We had used the impact
impact
fees,
fees?
yeah, because we used that as a revenue source.
I didn't think we used it.
Yeah, we did. Or, I mean, we,
Maybe.
somehow the numbers had worked into that,
Betty figured it out.
yeah.
So instead of paying the school, you used it to offset the taxes?
I don't know if that's the way it was, because I can't find where,
I kinda think that's the way it was.
I can only find where it went, there's 58,000 something that was listed as revenue. I show it as revenue, which is that check that Beverly wrote, and it just went into the general fund in that area.
Yeah.
I can't find any place where it was ever credited to Messianic school.
Well, if it was used to
No,
offset
we
taxes,
didn't,
it
we didn't give it to
would've
the
been
senior school.
Okay,
It went into revenue and it was used to offset.
I don't think it's supposed to work that way. You wanna do that again, is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yep, and that's what they
Well,
do.
then maybe that's why she can't find a regular.
What can you put down?
Right, because it would have just come from the
I
town.
would be in agreement with that.
You know, you won't get nothing
How
if
do
you
we,
don't ask.
what do we offset with it?
You know.
You can't offset the town's taxes.
No, you
You have to offset the school tax.
know, no, we offset the town tax rate.
I'll look it up
No,
and see
that-
with the fig.
Yeah, we did.
That's not what it's for.
For instance,
Yeah.
if they.
I don't remember doing that much.
Alright, well,
If we did, then I don't think it should. Cause it's,
you guys had more experience at it than I did, so.
well, I was the only one experienced time I ever had, and this is gonna be the second, and probably never will again.
You probably won't.
So before you go on to that,
Is that-
can you make a motion to use it to purchase culverts and?
I will make a
Yeah,
motion to
right.
use impact fees to purchase
Alright,
cars.
hang on. It's got 24,789, right? Yeah, okay. You made a motion to do that and use it for culverts and whatever, if there's,
Any other road repairs that need to be done.
So the
okay.
impact fees for the road portion?
Yeah.
Right here, yeah, it's 24,789 as of right now, okay? Now, on the public safety side, over here, there's 2,450 and he needs, what's that
It
big,
was attached to this.
what?
The
Chief?
paper. No, this.
No, not that one.
Oh,
This?
yeah, that goes to the memo I had. What'd you do with
With
this?
a lease,
No, with that.
No, no, no. This goes with this, right? Is that what you're telling me?
No,
Yes.
no, no.
No?
There's a memo.
This is your memo here about,
that has
which we're
nothing to
gonna
do with
discuss
that.
the PD and the.
no.
There was a memo from Pete that had the amount.
Yes, but this, I'm not talking about Peter here. I'm talking about the police department, the impact
Alright,
fees
this is the,
for the police.
Okay.
this is
yeah.
Peter's right here, 32.
That's that one.
100.
I wrote there, use impact fees.
Yeah.
That's
Alright,
it.
you wanna leave that? with
Take
your impact?
3,200 out of this figure,
Yeah.
that's what he's asking for here.
Alright.
Then he's gonna be asking for some more, that's just that,
Yeah,
plastic, yeah, that's plastic pipe,
alright.
okay? Now, the police chief wants,
Hold on a sec, can you second the motion and
well, no,
finish it?
not yet, but I will. I'll second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we voted to use $24,789. Selectman Conlon made the motion, I seconded it, it's all in favor, we voted for it, to spend it on culvert pipe or whatever, road projects as needed,
For this year.
okay? Because you won't have it next year. After 6 years, you gotta pay it back to them, so you better use it.
Oh,
That's what it was for. Okay, now, on public safety, he wants, what is it, $2,000?
for,
You're at, I'm at a loss.
I don't think I was involved with that
You were
conversation.
sitting right there listening. Yes, you
No, I
were.
would have remembered.
Here, I'm relying on you, and you let me down.
well, why don't we wait, we can do
All right.
that, we're gonna be getting this
Well,
week.
okay, I'll make a motion then, but we, because this is police and fire, I don't know, I forgot to ask David if he needed it. I think Tim wants like $2,000 out of it.
The thing is though, can you legally use those if there's not an increase in population or increase in actual department size.
No, there's been an increase in department.
But not from the original, that was part of the question behind the propane tanks in the other building.
Oh, that's.
Because that was the original police department size,
Mm.
so.
But it was also an improvement because of the, putting the units on the top at the time. That's how the state said it was okay.
Alright, I'm just making sure, you know, cause we have questions
But I
about.
tell you it wasn't, if it wasn't, I hope not, if I do, then you better send me to Concord and leave me there. See, my poor fifty.
Well, I'm saying,
All right,
can you wait till next Wednesday?
Yeah,
I mean Tuesday, cause if
we
we
can
waste.
split this, but we should give, the fire department some too,
Yeah,
out of it, because it's both police and fire, it's public safety. Well, then Jim Hicks is doing or something.
but I mean, but as long as there's a purpose to spend it and not just spending the money because there's a
No,
windfall.
he has a,
You know.
no, he told me today, I can't for the life of me think of what it was.
We'll give the fire 1,500 and then they'll pay for the lights
All
and
right,
the heat.
I'll wait till, you gonna be in next week?
Yeah.
All right, don't let me forget.
We can-
I'll keep it in the mo- I'll
Roberta
keep it in
won't let
the-
me forget anyway, right? No, you
No,
got
I'll
this in
find
here,
out.
what do you got this requisition in here for?
Just attach it to Pete's memo, please, and
Oh,
finish it.
so he can throw it right out right away?
Yeah, he wants to order them,
I
or he
know he
has
does.
them.
I bet you, he's probably already
Yeah,
ordered.
he probably has.
$3,220, that's only part of it, okay. Now, impact fees are done.
Well,
You wanna,
hold on one
maybe you
second.
should explain this better than I will.
Yes, I will, but the impact fees aren't quite done.
Not yet, next week.
Okay, are you gonna finish the discussion on what you're gonna do with the schools portion too, cause you didn't make a
We have to,
motion?
no, why don't we research what we can
I
do?
wanna,
Okay,
I
I
wanna
will
find
do that.
out if that was actually used as taxes, because legally, I don't think it's supposed to.
Okay,
The way
I
the
will find
law,
out.
the way the law is, because I know you, well, it would be the same as you use it, you're not supposed to use it as a offset payment on your school payment. In other words, you're paying 600, what is it now?
That can be debt, it can be used for
600.
debt service, so that's
You
where it
can use
was,
for bonds,
Yeah.
that's right,
for debt service, and that's where Benty,
long-term debt
Yeah.
service, but he didn't do that. He just used it, you said he used it. I
you
don't
know,
know.
again,
I didn't
we were
remember
talking
that.
2 years ago,
I
so
know.
I'll look into it and have
trying-
it answered next week.
I couldn't find the answers. I only found where there was, the money was there, found where Beverly wrote the check, 58,000 or something.
I'll go through my.
She doesn't know what happened after that.
Yeah.
I can't blame her, she's
Well,
old.
if it was used for taxation, then there wouldn't be another check.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to use it for that, I don't
Well,
believe.
it sounds like you guys did, so.
I don't know how we,
You know what, I have to look at my, I can't just pull it up like that.
all right, you wanna, why don't you explain that, because you're the one that's working with the bank,
Yes.
not me.
I've been working on the lease agreement with the bank for the new highway truck
Yeah.
and, police department car.
Mhm.
And an issue has come up, we cannot use capital reserve funds for a lease payment, you can only use it for a purchase. So your original motion was to do the leases and you're gonna use the funds from capital reserve for the police car. The highway department's okay, there was put into, the budget. So.
Alright, now my question would be,
The last time they did it
yeah,
wrong.
no, that's.
No, I know, but
I know,
they did,
yeah.
just so you know.
So, there's not gonna be a payment made until
Next
January,
That's right, until next May, actually.
next May. So if we get a lease purchase,
Mhm.
but then we pay it off in May anyways,
You'll do the first lease payment in May. The problem is the bank does not want to
They
finance
need-
this unless they know where the funds are coming from.
They need some
Understand
reassurance that you're gonna have funds.
that
in
we
other
have
words,
funds.
yeah.
Right now, we have no place to take it from. As of right now, if we were to have to make a payment. Because it's not in the police budget, we can't use capital
Yep.
reserve. The only other place we do have, which is what I'm asking you, is the outside detail fund account. There are
It's 40 similar thousand.
43,000 in there right now. I'm looking into a question with the DRA. No monies have been transferred since it was set up in 2011 to cover salaries, and it was supposed to be. It was always supposed to be transferred into the general fund.
yeah.
Never has been done.
So we have $40,000 that's supposed to be in the general fund.
No, we have 27,000 that should be transferred to the general fund, which I'm checking with Shelley to make sure that it's
Give you a
due.
total of 40 something.
Yeah, I mean, I have no
We'll
problem.
have 15,000 left, which
Yeah.
we could take a lease payment out of that.
Yeah.
But I would need a motion for you guys to approve that, so I can go forward with
Alright,
it.
well, I mean, you have to find out if
Well,
it's,
she'll know next week.
Well, I know we have enough for a lease payment anyways. There's 15,000 in there, even if we make
The
the
truck's
payment.
not the problem anyway.
no, no, it's, I realize that.
Yeah.
And that's why we're using the detail fund.
As long as
Do,
you okay it.
do you wanna make a motion contingent on DRA's
On
approval?
what she find, yeah, I'll make that motion that we
Okay.
do that, transfer that, and contingent on what Shelley tells you.
Okay, so,
That's who you're dealing with, is Shelley, right?
yes, it is. Approve the lease payment from the outside detail
Yeah,
fund
yeah.
contingent on
Because that's the way
DRA.
it was originally.
Because that's actually, that money should go back to the town anyways.
That's right, you're gonna have
$27,000
to,
should come back to the
you're
town.
gonna have to ask for 2 years and see if you can use those 2 years.
That's what I'm asking you.
But,
We're not using those 2 years for the lease, that is a separate issue. The issue is 27,000 should be
No.
transferred to
Yeah,
That's
revenue for the
27,000,
town.
but the 2 years was,
Alright.
was never done.
my other question though, I mean, basically, the only problem is we don't have to pay any money, we just have to show that we have money.
Yes.
That we,
Right.
okay.
Yes.
Because this is all gonna be covered under,
Yes.
you know, cap
Next
reserve.
year, it will go into the budget, the payment will go in the budget.
But the idea behind it was that we're gonna try to pay it off next year anyways with cap reserve.
You can pay off the whole thing, you can't make the lease payment, you can purchase it.
I mean,
Actually, right now, you have enough money to purchase it if you wanted to. In capital reserve, it would just take it down to nothing.
You can now use this year's, she found out that you can use this as, this year's allocation. which-
Yeah, and
Use
that's,
this allocation.
and that was what we
You're
were
allowed
gonna,
to
that's
do
what we
that,
were
though.
gonna do next year anyways. So
You
why don't we just go out and just
Do what?
pay, if we can just use cap reserve and pay it off?
It's up to you guys.
Why don't we talk to the chief?
That's
Tim
expendable.
does not want to do that. The chief does not want to
Well,
do
he
that.
wants to keep some money in it, but,
Yeah, I mean, I wanna keep money in my
Let's-
savings account too, but I
let's
mean,
find
I
out
don't.
what we can and can't do, okay?
So you made a motion to approve the lease payment from the outside detail
I did,
account,
yeah.
contingent on DRA approval.
Contingent on DRA, what she tells you.
I'll second that.
Okay,
All in favor?
Aye.
And the vote was 2-0.
thank you.
But McCarrigal, he didn't vote yet. Ben, you wanna vote? No, he does not. He's not voting, sorry,
Yes, Dave?
he abstained. Okay. What was the other thing? Oh, all right, now, application for the use of, the Babe Ruth Field downtown, Michael Clark, you must know him.
No, I know.
So the telephone number is Jaffrey.
Yeah.
Is that where, that's where they're from?
I
And
think,
that-
I think, yeah, I mean, what happens is the teams, I know like with softball, they play in the Monadnock League, so at Babe Ruth, they might do that too, I'm not exactly.
I think that's what happened.
No.
All right, they got a certificate of liability insurance here, so.
What's
what
the
we need
dates
to do-
on?
Huh? Did he put dates on? Yeah.
June
June
12th.
12th until June 15th only? Oh. Thought it was longer than that.
I'll make a motion.
5 p.m. to dark on June 12th, which is a Wednesday, I believe, and the 15th then from 10 to 4.
No, which is,
You make a motion to do
to
it?
accept that.
I'll second that motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the motion's 2-0. In favor? I don't think there's anything else we need.
Just
That we need, we got the insurance, that's the main thing, so. All right, that's the Monadnock Bay Road. Yeah.
Oh, you can, you're the
No,
chairman.
you're gonna put your name on that, so, there's a place for two names on there. Don't leave it up to me, you're gonna be the chairman. You don't wanna be the chairman?
That's why you're the chairman.
No, I'm not. I'm just here, right? The man on the street will tell you. Right, David?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now, I know you're anxiously waiting for a report on the cemeteries.
With DES?
Okay. I don't know how many of you saw the interviews that were held yesterday with Channel 4, 7.
I got a phone call at my house.
Did you?
Yeah, I was at home.
Somebody unhappy or happy?
No, it's just a reporter just asking what's going on.
From one of
I-
the stations?
Yeah,
They wanted you to come give them an interview.
yeah, but I was unavailable.
So was I. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. So anyway, they ended up with the sexton over there, who was, then proceeded to give him an interview, and they told him that, that's, the state had, he told them that the state had given that land back to the town, which it hasn't done. Okay? In the meantime, what happened this morning, after they watched that on TV, they watched their little interview on TV and so forth, Roberta even saw it, the state people called my house, and we're not exactly happy with what took place. still state land, we could find, there is no documentation to prove that the state ever gave it back to the town. There is documentation to prove that, it is state land, right on the plan, for the ways. They still have to determine exactly what the measurements are as far as that part is concerned, but pretty much the whole end there is state land, okay? They kept that for a staging area, they call it, when they bring in equipment, take it up there and put it on the dam and so forth, and work on the spillway and all that. That's what it was for. Okay, so,
Excuse me.
to make a long story short, the state was not exactly happy with the way, the interview, when it was said that the state had given the town back that land a number of years ago. It never happened. So they asked me to publicly announce, basically, what I'm gonna be doing right now, that the town's position, unless you feel differently, the town's position is that it's still state land and that the town doesn't own that piece of land. We had a cemetery part I'm talking about, all right, that part. So, and if it's basically a case of, they pretty much wanted that, I had to call Channel 9 today and tell them to retract that statement that it wasn't the town's position, that Oliver Neiman was not speaking on behalf of the town, the cemetery trustees, or the board of selectmen. He was speaking on his own, I guess, as a sexton, which is all right, but anyway, they thought he was an elected official, and of course it threw him off a little bit, but anyway, so tonight I have to make a motion to officially say that that's the town's decision, that is state land, and that we are working with the state of New Hampshire DES to come up with a viable solution where everybody will be hopefully happy, I guess you could use.
Excuse me, George.
Be any such word as happy. Yes, ma'am. What?
What happens, we all paid money for, our
Hang on.
parents,
Hang on.
plots and
That's,
stuff.
That's Sally,
Robinson.
Sally Robinson. I was gonna say Eastman, but
Yeah,
I
well,
better
it used
not
to
do
be.
that. Okay.
And Margaret Gregory.
And
I own a
Margaret
lot over
Gregory.
there.
You both have lots over there.
Yes.
I know that. Okay, what were you gonna say right now?
I'm wondering, we paid for these lots,
You did.
and there was something in the newspaper, Monadnock Ledger, saying we were gonna have to pay $250 to get the
one you have from.
plots moved. The one I have, that I just took out of the
No,
thing,
wait a
said
I
500.
don't know where that came from in the ledger, because it never came from this board.
No.
Or, I have
The
no
state
idea
of
where it
New
would've
Hampshire,
come from
right?
or why. There is, if these lots were gonna be moved, okay, which hopefully they won't be, because I own lots in there myself. My son is buried there also, and I'd have to dig him up, well, not me, but the town would naturally, I hate to say this, but would have to encumber the cost of whatever it took, if there is such a thing.
Where are you gonna
It wouldn't
move
be the
them?
state of New Hampshire, what?
Where would
Yeah.
you move them?
Why, that hasn't even been thought about yet,
Yeah.
as far as, because you would have, if it got to that point, and I said if, because I don't really think that overall, if we can keep working with the state and don't have people, say that this or that, the other thing, for example, they were really upset, and I shouldn't say this, but they wanted me to. They were upset because of the fact that it led people to believe that the state gave the town back that money, and it misleads you, and misleads me and everybody else thinking that it's town land, and it's not, all right? So that's it. Their main concern is, besides that, they have, who knows how many phone calls up to the state.
When you say that end, you mean the whole new side, on that side of the
No,
road?
not necessarily, Margaret. It's not necessarily the whole new end. It could conceivably only part of it. It may be a little bit more than what we originally thought. There was 52 graves originally that were in there, plus some that some people aren't buried in. Your section, where yours is, I'm trying to think which,
Right
I'm
at
on
the
the end of the
end,
road,
on the end of the road.
very end of the road.
right down towards the end of the road by
Yes.
that cable, right?
Yes.
Yes. That one may or may not, I don't think that's gonna do it. What they tried to say at one point, I shouldn't say this, but there was a line that they came up with saying it went down through part of that. Part of it was in their right of way and part of it wasn't, or our right of way, I should say, but where there was flowage rights, but I think that that'll be worked out, that section, and
I've been
hopefully we
here
can
since-
work out the other section.
1969, and it's never flooded before, why would it flood now?
Well, that's something that
The water
you-
tables
you
are even
can't say.
lower.
I know you were here in 1969, you were here in 1970, because I remember dealing with you, but anyway, that's beside the point.
You dealt with me
Huh?
2 years ago, too.
When you lived down in when you lived in Highbridge.
Yep, hybrid.
Remember that? Down in
Farm
the
Road.
flats? Okay, but that's another issue. Anyway, in regards to your question about cost,
I didn't own anything on the flood.
no, you lived in an apartment
You
down
lived
there.
in your apartment.
I lived in two apartments.
Yeah, so you thought I forgot.
She said, what?
I forgot.
What?
She's got
Anyway,
it split.
getting back to your question about cost.
Yeah,
As far as I know right now, there would be no cost to you or anybody else that's already paid for their lot for the moving of loved ones, if it ever got to that point. Now, I have to stress, ever gets to that point, because this is, it would be a monumentous effort, actually, because you'd have to find sites that are suitable for people and so forth, so we can think along the good terms that hopefully it's not gonna have to take place, and that the town, if they continue to work amicably with the state, we don't get antagonistic or stand up and say we want this or we want that, or anything else, and work with them, which has been happening up until yesterday, unfortunately.
well, people like to stick their nose in.
Well, yeah, but the problem is that there are people, all of us insisted that there was still documentation, but there is no documentation. We don't have any anywhere that doesn't show that the state owns that land, and that when it was originally built, that was state land even then. They kept it for that purpose, but anyway, they still have room, and we may end up finding them a place to offload equipment or whatever they have to do to work on the reservoir if it gets to that point. It's not anything to do with flooding as far as the cemetery is concerned. There isn't any particular reason that should be flooding that side anyway. I mean, you're gonna have an awful lot of water if you do.
Yeah,
Coming up
flood the
over
whole
that.
cemetery, not just one section.
Now, where the ball field is, there's a possibility it could flood at some future time, but I don't know if it, yeah, I guess it has at some point, but anyway, that's another issue. So just so you'll know, I knew there would be people that would have fears about having to pay for extra cost and all that stuff as far as the lots are concerned. As of right now, I don't see any way that you should be responsible.
No, that's
It's not your fault.
responsibility.
No,
It's not the landowner or property owner, the lot owner's fault that are in there, so. As of right now, what I have to do is, I just made a
Yeah,
motion.
I'm
You
gonna second it
it.
right now.
Okay, say that the official decision of the Board of Selectmen and the town of Northwich is that, that is still state land. I guess I said it that way in the beginning, didn't I?
You wanna write that on the back of
What?
my slip,
Where?
on my cemetery slip?
You still got that?
Of course I do. I
I
haven't been
forgot
buried
mine.
yet.
The unfortunate thing is, I'm getting off the subject, is that somewhere along the line, he stopped using those, and now it's just the front side, and on the back of that, there's a transfer where you could sell it to somebody else and
Yes.
all that.
I re-
In order for you to do
I'm
that
going.
now, you have to go back.
There's only room for me.
Yeah, in the front?
I don't even have a plot, only my parents.
Well, yeah, but there's room there for you, right?
No.
There isn't any room for you there?
No, Mr. Nemi said there wasn't room, somebody else already had it there.
How could they have it?
I have no idea, that's what he told me when I bought my mother and father's plot.
Well,
I said, I
Oh,
want
so
one
there
for
was
me
only room
too.
for two.
And he said, there's no room for you to get in even in that aisle.
Which Mr. Nemi, the present Mr. Nemi?
The old one,
Huh?
old Mr. Nemi, Oliver
Senior?
Senior.
What do you have to do with it?
I know, he said he was running the cemetery committee. I come up here to buy a plot when my dad died.
Oh, I don't
And
remember him running any
They
cemetery.
told me to go see him because he was over at the cemetery and he was taking care of that stuff.
You sure it's not Ollie Junior? You went
No,
to
it
school.
wasn't Ollie
You
Junior,
went
I
to
went to
school
school
with
with him.
I know you did.
No, it was his dad.
I'd go back to Boston.
But anyway,
Farm.
he used to own all that land in there, actually, they owned it at one point. His father, young Ollie's grandfather and his father owned that land. And there was a ball field there and all that, and then they sold it to the state. Goes way back to 1930 when his grandfather bought it.
Yeah.
Before that, it was a guy named Chandler. William Chandler. But, been a lot of changes since then, so. But anyway, all in favor of that motion, that is the town's official position as the state owns that piece of land over there, that
We have no documentary proof.
we have nothing to prove that
Are
the
you
town
gonna
ever owned
publish
it.
this,
What?
what you're finding is, are you gonna publish it in the paper so everybody can see it, or put it on the news or whatever?
No.
No? I think we put a lot of
All
people
right,
like that.
now I'm coming up with my.
What I did today was because of Channel 9, I called Channel 9 and I wanted them to change that story, the story that was, where it was said that the state gave the land to the town, and that's not.
And did you see Channel 9 at 6 or?
What?
Did you see Channel 9? All they said was the state absolutely owns that land. That's all they said.
That's enough for the DES, that's all they need to say, because they just didn't, they were upset because it was even hinted that they had ever given the land back to the town. And so tomorrow, what I have to do is come down here and Roberta doesn't know it yet. We have to write a letter with the official position of the town and send it to DES and anybody else that's interested. The reason they put that on there tonight was because I did call the news editor and so forth, and the reporter, it was his off day and he didn't wanna do it. So, but they had it on at 6?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Because that's basically all they had to report was that the state did own that land.
And that's all they
What,
said.
David?
You should have, some
should
kind
have-
of a seminar or something about, so that it doesn't happen again, that town employees or whatever not talk to the press, you know, like representing the town. Cause, you know, this could happen again,
Well-
and it could really
It could,
backfire.
but it's not going probably.
Well, that's one person that learned a lesson, maybe.
No, he didn't.
Well, how about, but, I mean, you have how many other town employees that could, these reporters, I know how they operate.
Well, sure you do. So do I. I've been dealing with them for a
But
long
you
time.
should just maybe have some kind of a seminar that say, don't talk to the press.
Oh, send them
You
a note.
You don't have to tell them that, just tell them not to say foolish things as far as the town's position
Well,
or anything
you
else.
shouldn't speak as a town representative if you don't know what you're talking about.
That's right.
And they'll twist your words around too.
It happens all the time. I guess I better get
Yeah.
up and leave.
No, I don't know, it's just, you know, it's a good lesson
Yeah, but
learned.
we got you to spread the word,
There you go, but
Brother
I can't
Dave.
see everybody.
huh?
Why not?
Brother
I
Dave.
tried.
I haven't
But
seen you in a
anyway.
long time.
I guess the thing the point is, you're right, as far as, you don't, if you're doing it, and you're doing it as an official capacity, make sure you do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't know if I've ever been accused of that, I probably have, not knowing what I was talking about, yeah, many times.
That's why you don't answer the phone some days.
I don't answer the phone.
No, I'm not saying you, I'm saying other people.
Yeah, that's all I got is phone.
That's why I have a message.
I don't have email and all that other stuff.
Oh,
But anyway, you're right, it's, all of them, for some unknown reason, just kept insisting that the town owned that land. I know he's probably gonna be watching it and he'll get upset, but,
Well, maybe his father told him that, like his
That's
father
what I
told him that there's no room for her there, so.
I never knew his father was involved with.
I didn't either.
It could have been, I don't think so, they didn't have cemetery trustees only until, what year was it?
Well, he was like mowing the area and keeping it cleaned up. I don't know if he was
Oh.
doing that on his own or
Yeah, he
what, but
probably,
they told me to go see him and
he
pick up.
probably
the
was,
lot.
cause he used to own the land. See, they own all that land up to that stone wall as you go in that entrance there.
Yeah,
Anyway, all right, that's official, and you have any problem with Roberta and I composing a letter and send it to, DES?
No, I have no problem with that at all.
And, it's gonna go to the same gentleman, you never talked to
You
him?
can always, email me a draft.
You wanna sign it?
I can come in and sign it.
He wanted this, well, that's
Well,
right.
then no,
Can
I
you sign
mean,
it tomorrow night?
You can do it as chairman of board.
Yeah, just do it as chairman of the board.
Yeah, but I don't wanna leave you out.
No, you know what, I understand the gist of it, and like I said, you can email me a copy of the
Send you a
letter that
copy.
way, I know, and,
Look, and she and
I
I
can-
will do it,
yeah.
okay?
I
Okay,
mean,
your approval?
yeah.
I'll make that as a motion then, all right. You send
I'll
him a
make
letter.
that a motion that you and Roberta mail a letter to the Department of Environmental Services.
so that they want something in writing that's official from somebody.
Yeah.
They probably should get it from you, not me,
Why? You're the chairman of the board.
but you're more official than I am.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you want, I'll call the guy from Channel 4 there. I still got his number.
Who, Mark Rosenfeld?
Yeah.
See, I even remembered him, didn't I?
Yeah. I got his cell number. You want it?
No. She's got it right in there on her desk. Okay, what else? Anything else about cemeteries? You got any other comments, man on the street? No? Okay, Sally?
You need to, second his motion.
I thought I did. I didn't do that? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote was 2-0. In favor.
Um,
Nobody abstained, nobody,
Do we
what?
deal with that in public or?
No. Oh, this, yeah, this is why you don't wanna do it?
No,
It's up to you.
No, we should
Did you
do it.
read it?
Yeah,
Are you familiar with it?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Good night, attach that other thing to it. What was the RSA 155? Should be
This is.
right here. Read this. That. Okay. This is in regards to complaints regarding Pitcherville gravel operation in the
That's across from the dump, right?
the Red White's pit, yes. And the complaints, some of the complaints have emanated from Hubbard Pond Road, because that pit goes all the way in, and the houses on Hubbard Pond, there's a number of them there, border that excavation in the gravel pit, where all the trucks that go up and down the road all day long are going to Pitcherville. They got an operation in Greenville up here also. What they're doing is, they're starting trucks at 4:30 in the morning, 4:30, 5 o'clock, and they originally had an agreement with the code enforcement officer, Mr. Schultz, that they wouldn't start before 6 o'clock, okay? Now, they slowly got back into the 4 and 4:30 stuff, so I think that, in fact, the police chief had told me that mornings when he comes through there earlier, and the lieutenant and so forth, and other people, that they're there before they even get there, so they're in there dark. And the problem is that they had that agreement. This gentleman here had, that gentleman had complained before about it. And then that's when Mr. Schultz went up there and supposedly made an agreement with him, which they apparently didn't keep. Now it's worse than that other was. Now if you read, did you do that RSA I just gave you? That's out of the subdivision regulations. I don't know if you really read it, read it or not, but.
Yeah, it's 7 o'clock to 7 p.m.
All right, thank you.
You're all set, Margaret?
Yeah, for now.
Okay, Sally,
Thanks, George.
did we answer your questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm satisfied for now. I'll keep my ears and eyes open.
When the state comes sending me a letter, I'm gonna say, send it to George.
That's what I would say too.
That's right.
Poor
I
George.
get all those letters, right, Sally?
That's right.
Naganine.
Good night.
All right, so this, in case that you haven't been through this gravel stuff before, I don't know, have you got involved in excavations and all that? Are those?
No, we haven't had any.
You haven't had any
We only
reclamations
had
or
there's only
restorations?
been, I haven't been involved in any active
Well,
ones.
there's more than this
Yeah.
in that, section 6 anyway, but what it does is, this basically it talks, there's, a lot of it's taken from state law, like RSA 155, as I said, E, and then you got, E and 4 and 4A, and this is what the town's excavation regulations are. They coincide with 155E. So, startup time for all machinery, anybody who wants to come in here and read this is welcome to. For all machinery associated with a gravel or sand pit shall be no earlier than 7, and all machinery must be shut down by 7 p.m. It's 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Hours of operation, other than those stipulated, may be allowed if specifically authorized by the planning board. Okay, the planning board has, unless you go by these hours, the planning board can change their schedule. but it hasn't ever been done that I know of. Did they ever come to ZBA when you were on it?
No.
No? Provided there's no detrimental impact on surrounding properties, all right? So the planning board can change it as long as there's no detrimental impact. And then it tells you how you go through and how much you can take out of there, and then, how many contiguous feet was it? You remember? How many feet you can, like topsoil and stuff, you can rip off only so many, and then you gotta put
Yeah, I
stuff
don't
back
remember
and
off
all
the top of my
that.
head.
You don't have it in your head?
I don't have that.
Bob Boynton knows.
I used to know too, but I can't remember. I'm getting old.
Ooh, George.
I did. Wow, we got, I mean, I was on the plan board, I was selectman for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the police department report, the pit would've been closed for 55, almost an hour anyways. If we arrived at 16:55, which is 5 minutes to 5, the sign on the gate said that they're open from 6 to 4.
That's
He
right.
got there, you know, so there'd be no one there anyways, after the pit hours.
But they were there when he went there, weren't they?
No,
You didn't find anybody that
when,
time?
when I arrived at the sand pit, the gate was closed and locked, the sign
Alright.
advised that the pit was open from 6 in the morning to
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
What day was that?
That was on.
One or the other, huh?
Wednesday the 15th.
Alright. Well, according to the neighborhood, they haven't been doing what they're supposed to do. I guess unless you wanna go. You're not around this week at all, are you?
I can't go during the day, no.
Alright. With your blessing, I'm going up there with the police chief and see if we can find out who's in charge. And there was never anything in writing with, the guy that runs it.
Well, I mean,
What's his name? Peter Brown? What's his name? Norman Brown, right? Norman. And that's the guy that runs it, owns it, whatever he does. You dealt with him on the ZBA, didn't you? You never did?
alright.
I thought you did when he was up at the quarry up there.
Yeah, do you want me to make a motion on that, George, or
What?
that you and the police chief go, or?
Yeah, you can if you
I'll
want.
make a motion that George visits the pit across from the dump,
Up in Red White's pit.
yeah, with the chief of police to investigate, the complaints.
Okay. I'll second it, I guess. All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, so I'll go, with all good luck, I'll go tomorrow. I'm gonna be a busy man, aren't I?
Yep.
Holy cow.
You better go at 4:30 in the morning, George,
Huh?
and see if they're there. You gotta go there at 4:30 and see if they're there.
You think so?
Yeah.
I bet you don't think I'm up at 4:30.
I bet you are.
I know I am.
But
I
you go
hear
right
the-
back to bed then after you do your duty.
No, I don't. I hear the trucks when they go up the road.
Yeah,
I can actually say
I
that.
wouldn't doubt it,
I
but,
do, it comes right down
oh
my
yeah.
house.
Alright, so
Well, I
that's,
know that it's earlier than what it's supposed to be. Is there anything else you want to
no, I mean, if,
apply with this?
I would think that,
What we may end up doing afterwards is writing a letter of, stating what this says and so forth.
yeah, I mean, why don't we find out what's going
Either
on?
that or
and,
have them come to a meeting. You want them to
Yeah.
come to a meeting? You wanna meet
I mean-
Norman Brown or
I
whoever?
mean, the thing is, if some, the RS, actually,
What?
the ordinance for the town states that the pit can't be open from 7, can be only open from 7 to 7.
What?
Now, does the code enforcement officer, building,
I guess he didn't know it when he went there, made an agreement to have, let him open at 6.
really has no power to make that agreement.
No, he didn't. Alright, he could go up there and tell them they had to open at 7.
Yeah, cease and desist at the 6 o'clock, but he can't say that your hours can be open more.
No, you're not, you can't do it. The only one that can do that, as it says here, planning board.
Yeah,
You guys can do that.
so,
We, as the enforcers,
yeah.
we are the enforcement.
I would actually, when you go up there, I would explain to him that we would be probably forced to enforce this, and he should probably go before the planning board or the ZBA
I don't know.
to find out if he can get that.
Like, hasn't been before the planning board since you've been on it, has he?
No.
Alright. And you said he'd never been to the ZBA that you know of.
No.
So, I mean,
Well, we'll go pay him a visit then. If I get shot, well, don't bury me in section D. Even if I do own a lot there.
We'll put you in Porter Hill, how's that?
Hey, there you go. That's probably the best one of all, what?
Yeah.
This here, you're not familiar with this either, I don't think. Oh, you know that, have you ever seen that intersection up on Hubbard Pond Road
Yeah,
by Timber Top?
Yep.
You been up there?
I know exactly where it is.
Well, it isn't there, yeah.
No, they're gonna give land to the town
Yeah.
in exchange
You
for.
go up there with Peter?
No, I've followed this since, he's been talking about it for the last 2 years.
Well, you've been talking about it for a long,
But I've only
longer
been
than
here
that.
2 years.
I know that.
Okay.
It started way back in the days of David Lage and,
Yep.
and some other people. Steve Eaton drew up those plans originally, but it was owned at that time by, Evelyn Wolke, who works
Yep.
for the police department in Ranch, but she doesn't live there any longer. They sold the property to, there's the name, not Smith. Hey, that sounds good, Smith. I don't know. But anyway, so they had to go back and the deed and stuff had to be remade
Yep.
over. What it means is that they will give you that land, okay?
Yep.
Did Peter explain it to you?
It's been a while.
He probably told you that you have to upgrade their driveway.
Yeah,
Okay. In exchange for the upgrading of the driveway, which means hot top,
yeah.
you would then get that land
Intersection.
and, it's all surveyed. In fact, Steve Eaton's survey is there,
Yeah.
which was originally done. And most of the preliminaries are done on it already, as far as I know. There isn't anything else left to do on that,
Oh,
except
so I
to
think it's
do
ready.
the work, right?
Great.
And have them sign it and have us sign it. I don't know. Wait for signature on any of that tonight or not, but. You're familiar with it?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay. Do you approve of it?
Yes, I do.
The reason
It's
that
gonna
we-
make the intersection safer.
Well, the reason it was originally done was because of school buses, you knew that, right? I don't know if I ever told you that.
Yeah.
Way back in 2003, 4, whenever it first started, school bus goes up there and it goes up Hubbard Pond Road first, all right, that's the route, going up Hubbard Pond, coming back Hubbard Pond, then you gotta make that real sharp curve to get onto Timber Top from there. Well, it's very dangerous, it's a safety thing, there's no doubt about it. So, if you do this, cut that section across there, it pretty much eliminates all of those
Yep.
jigs and jags.
And also the bus can stop here, so the traffic going down can at least see the bus come out. Or a car too, I mean,
But anyway, that's what it was.
yeah, I mean, if you come out of Hubbard Pond Road
Yeah,
and a car's coming down Timber Top,
yes.
you're not gonna, I mean, you don't see.
With a school bus, it's worse. You're talking about with a car.
I'm just talking about just a regular car,
I know.
yeah,
I've done it many times. So what we're trying to do is eliminate that.
yep.
That goes with, you signed this, so you approved it.
So you're supposed to do anything with that tonight, or just,
What? No,
with that
approve it.
agreement, approve it, yeah, motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agreement for the improvement, for the, I guess it'd be a gift of land for improvements on,
In exchange
in
for
exchange for driveway improvements.
That's right. And that would be, I'm trying to think what he figured it out to be in dollars and cents. Did he tell you?
No.
But anyway, if there's a place there to sign, that's what he wants.
There's nothing I
I
can
don't
see.
think there is, I'll see if we'll have the documents ready for next week, I don't know whether.
He wanted to make sure that, because he wants to do this at some point in time in the near future, I hope. Right now, they're doing culvert work and other stuff. The only other thing was that, with the highway anyway, is that, you know the Williston property. Did you
Yeah.
ever go up there?
No, I haven't got a chance to,
That's
because
one
we were gonna, me and Peter were gonna go up there, but the road
Well,
wasn't, we couldn't get past a certain point.
okay, the guy that was originally gonna do it, now all of a sudden isn't doing it, so.
Doing what, the cleanup of the property?
Yeah, no, the thing that, and it's a good thing we went up there yesterday, because for some unknown reason, they didn't realize that there was two buildings, that's basically, that's what it amounted to, the buses, which we're not gonna touch. There's the bomb shelter. You believe it, that, it must be a bomb shelter, it's a thing covered with earth, concrete, yeah, and had a door on the front of it. And remember in the days when they used to build bomb shelters and all that stuff? Well, that's there, and then on that particular piece, cause it's down from the main house, this piece goes on 1,130 some odd feet in the front on Hubbard Pond Road, on Benny Hill Road, and then it's 730 some odd feet that way, and then it's 700 something right directly on the Wampac Trail. It comes to a crazy point. It's unreal, like a pie slice, and that's what they're getting. So, but it's there was two different cleanup spots, but they only thought there was one. The thing collapsed a number of years ago now. But it's not a great big cleanup, but it's just might be some hazardous stuff in there, and he's trying to get somebody else to go up there. In fact, one guy is going up this week, and another one hopefully will get up there within the next few days. Bob had to set the closing date back from June 1st to July 1st.
Yes, I haven't heard any of
Did he
that.
tell you that? No? Well, I'll tell you. What?
I haven't heard any of that. Last meeting, it was all on track still.
Yeah, I know that, because he was planning on the other, what you call it? The other guy that was gonna clean it up, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden he called him up and said he wasn't gonna do it. Well, what happened was, more than anything else, probably, because of the price that he had been quoted, and when they went up there, and they might have gone back up there again and checked it, and figured that he bid too low, so, there's a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
Well, anyway, that's the story on conservation and, Bob Boynton. I know you're the liaison with the conservation department, so.
But you seem to know more than I do.
You want to second his motion?
Motion to,
About the.
Oh.
about
agreement
Hubbard
for-
Pond?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't do that, did I? Yeah, I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That means that there'll be an agreement, and we pay for the recording, I believe, too, because there has to be something recorded, if I
Yes.
remember correctly, with registry of deeds. So, the vote was 2-0 to go ahead and do the work whenever you can.
I have signed all those.
Okay.
There is one,
What?
time card in there that you need to approve.
Oh, yes, there is regarding,
I need a motion for approval.
it's because of.
As of right
Two
now,
and-
the personnel policy is you have to take vacation days by day, a whole day. And she has requested to use 2.75 hours of vacation time.
So that's 2 3/4.
So, if you approve it, I need a motion.
I thought we had changed that policy.
It never got
I cannot
changed.
find anything
It was-
documented
It
anywhere.
was supposed to have been.
Yeah, we had made a motion.
Sick,
Yeah, but
there's
she-
nothing for vacation,
She's
sick and
already
personal
gone through the
time.
research.
We went through all the minutes.
Yeah.
Went through all the minutes, it was last August, you changed sick days and personal time to be used in half-hour increments.
Yeah, that's the way.
I'll make,
Originally, one of the, and maybe the change you're talking about, was that originally, they couldn't, they had to use a whole day, if I remember correctly. You couldn't use segments of it, and then we changed it to a half a day. This here,
Alright.
let me explain. This here was done because, the police chief needed it during the time. Do you remember rolling the vacation over into this year, her original vacation? She had, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks coming, and he came and requested before the board to, roll it over into this year, which is allowed, providing it's done within a reasonable length of time.
was I at that meeting?
Yeah, you were. I'm pretty sure you were there. You don't recall it?
No, I don't. But that
Do you
doesn't,
recall ever rolling anybody's over before that? As a selectman, you don't?
no.
When you get to the end of the year and you still have vacation.
I don't
You have
recall
to-
rolling, in the 2 years I've been here, I don't
You
recall.
don't?
But I don't really have a huge deal with that. I'm gonna sign, I have no problem signing this. I
No.
wanna make a motion now,
What?
that vacation time can be taken in less than a day. It can be taken in hour increments.
You want hour increments?
Yeah.
You have a problem with that? Yeah.
I was gonna say half day,
Oh,
because
alright.
of vacation
Because of the
time,
way-
everything else is half.
Because of the way
Alright,
the.
then why don't we go half day then?
Well, that's what I thought too, but
Unless
because of the way the
approved
policy.
by
By
the Board of of Selectmen,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Mike may be, Tim may be asking for her to be able to do hourly.
Yeah, alright, yeah, why don't we go half day increments?
Maybe used in half-day increments unless
Approved by the board of selectmen.
Yeah.
Less of it.
I will accept this time sheet though.
We went all through that before, and I don't
Do we-
understand why it hasn't been done, what? Well, she did it, she didn't take that vacation because of the, he needed her at the time, is basically what it boils down to.
So she's trying to use up those 2
That's
weeks
right.
of vacation.
Yes, exactly.
Did you second that, George?
No. You in a hurry? Or you wanna go home? You
Well,
got
no,
ten-
it's just you
you
kind
got
of,
ten-
you forget the motions and you go on to something else, so,
Yeah, but you keep telling me.
to go back, that's right.
I'll second it, how's that?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pretty quick, you won't have me to worry about. So, how's that? You'll love that too, right, David?
Yep.
He'll be dealing with.
We're gonna get that new blood in here that they were talking about last year. The new blood.
Alright, so I signed that little
All right.
sticky note.
Hang on
by
one
initial.
minute. Yeah, you did. That's good. It's all approved anyway. I don't have a problem with it. Did you sign this one?
Then why am I even here then?
What?
If you don't have a problem with it, you said it's all approved, I mean, I've been.
Well, you just approved it.
Which string do you wanna use, this one or this one?
Be nice. You know what, Nixon said, you don't have me
Ben, what do you
stick
think about
around much longer. He's not talking. He's building a police station. You heard that one,
No.
right? It's talk, rumor has it that, and it's not rumor, it came right from him. But it started last week after the meeting, right, that he wants to see if he can put an L on this building out there. I shouldn't say it when he's not here, but. should
L on
let him-
what building?
Let him come and explain it himself.
one?
The town office building on that end. Right there, put an L for a police station. You
Okay.
haven't heard that one?
Yeah, whatever.
Did you ever hear it?
No,
Oh, I thought maybe he told you. He
you
told-
talk to him a lot more than I do.
He told Roberta and us as we were, what were we doing, getting our vehicles going home?
I'll be
So-
nice.
But apparently he went to the police station today and discussed it with them. I'm not sure what they came up with. The figure is kinda low.
You know what, until it's something in front of me.
I understand, and that's what I told Timothy, I said, what are you talking about? You gotta have plans and everything else. How can you come out and just pull a figure out of the air that's gonna cost you $250,000 or whatever to do it?
Well, I mean, people do that for studies sometimes. They just pull like figures out of the air.
Oh, Michael. Yeah, they,
I know one person in this room who's done that before,
where?
for my, the study on, feasibility.
Oh, now you're gonna tell everybody what you did.
Oh, I'm honest, I'm not
You
worried
changed
about
it. You got it down to $12,500.
And it
which I
still
don't
got,
think-
and
I
it
don't
still
think
got
was
voted
enough.
down.
It still got voted down, I don't think it was enough money anyway, in that case.
Well, that was the quote.
Well, okay, but it didn't happen, so.
Yeah.
All right,
I think
anything else? You got anything, Roberta? You do, don't you? What else were we supposed to do? There's something else.
I do, I have, well, discussing, or thinking about building 2 and police department, emergency services building. At some point here, this spring, summer, you guys need to start discussing what you want to do, if you want a warrant article to go on, if you want
For
accurate
what?
figures.
For building number 2?
Building number 2, I can get, accurate figures of what it's going to cost to demolish it, to renovate it, whatever.
Why
But
would
at
you
some
do
point you
that?
need, because it can't just sit there forever. If not this year, then next year, you have to decide what you wanna do
and that's,
and put it to bed as a town.
Is she
No,
getting pushy or what?
no, I totally agree with her. And part of the feasibility study was to find out, where we could put a police station. In my opinion, and it's only a person's opinion, it's not an opinion of the board of the town of New Ipswich, but talking with David tonight, I would like to see all the salt and sand operation move up here. Build something up on, you take the money from general government buildings, put all your sand and salt up here. It's right by the trucks, you're not using all the fuel to go down there. The reason why, and I agree with the point that, Peter says about the sand at the dump. What happens if you have a snowstorm or something? That road, you have a fire, the road's closed off. you need to get sand and salt, and you can't get up there, that's why he doesn't use the dump as a staging area. If you have it here, you have all your equipment here, your trucks are here warmed up, you're not driving down there, you get your sand, you go out on the road. The state highway barns are the same way. With that being said, the next step, and if we could do a police station or whatever in building two, and we, you know, we have all the figures, and if people wanna do it, I fully support that.
I agree with you.
You know, but the other alternative is, like I said, the fire department's here. Take out their equipment, after the sand and salt's moved here, take down the building, the old highway barn, and build a police station there with emergency management. You can put a garage on the side for the, stuff that the fire department needs. Again, that's my opinion, it's not
And
the
you guys
opinion.
need to discuss it as a board.
Yeah.
You know, whatever
Yeah.
you need me to do, I can do for
Yeah.
you,
Well, you got
but
two
you
out
need
of
to
three.
decide.
What do we need you to do?
Even if you don't do anything downtown, I still feel that you should move the salt and the sand up here. To a minimum. I feel they have the area out here, they have a cement, staging area for the salt, they have the big loading dock back there. And I was talking to Peter because I'm the liaison to the highway department, and general government buildings, he has the money to buy the block to build. You know, it's gonna cost some money, but it would come out of general government buildings. Now you're talking,
You don't have enough money in general government buildings to do that.
well, he was saying he did.
We don't have enough this year to do it, we'd have to.
We hardly have enough even
Why, how much money do we have left in general government buildings?
this year. Oh, I don't know.
I mean, we have last year's money too.
You can't use last year's money.
Like, if you have a cap reserve, and you can use it for the.
Cap reserve,
Have
yeah.
reserve,
Alright.
you can,
You
but not-
can, you're talking about the expendable
Yeah,
building account? Is that what you're
Okay.
talking about? Yeah, all right.
I mean, in coordination with
I
that.
thought you were talking about the regular,
And you know what?
what?
If you don't do anything downtown anyways, and something happens where you have the fire, not the fire, the police and emergency management in building two, and the building's done, you know, to code, everything's right, you know, then you have your salt and sand here, so the driveway's sanded for the police department to drive out. You know, I don't like the separation of all your facilities. I think you should have your facilities all in an area.
That's why it was originally the way it was.
Oh, I know, and I think,
There's no doubt about that.
I mean, you have a
The
huge,
one- The one drawback here is the access.
but the thing is also, you can buy land on this side if you want.
How do you know?
I know certain things that other people don't, George. I have a different
Really?
circle that I walk in sometimes. I know you could, Talk to
Where you
the-
buying it from?
I don't know the exact person's last name, but someone had approached me a little while ago.
You know, because Benji used to own that, he would've sold it to the town 10, 15 years ago for
Yeah.
access.
Who, Benty?
Benji,
Alright,
I know,
Yeah.
you know him?
nope, this is, like I said, I can't remember the person's
Who,
last name.
Tommy? You know
Maybe.
Tommy. That's Hazen Fist's brother.
Oh, I don't know, but what I'm saying, someone
I
had,
do know.
someone had came up to me and asked me if the town was still interested in buying some land for access into here.
That was gonna come on across his probably,
No.
either that or on the other side of him, in between
Oh.
Michaud and his.
You know what, I don't know.
Not me, yeah,
I'm
Michaud.
just saying, someone came up and asked me for that. So I mean, if you are gonna do, you know, even if it's not, I mean, a police station, make it a whole fire department.
You-
Again, everyone has a different opinion than me. I
Yeah.
was the person who was in favor of buying Appleton.
I know.
No one, and I thought, and the whole town office could have been moved to Appleton, this could have been the police department, that could have been the fire, and you sell off the fire station and the old highway garage.
The other piece, the other access
Right.
could have been over here, cause the
Yeah.
town has a piece of property over there, whether you know it or not.
Yeah, I do.
In between, that house over there, right there, used to belong to Sepulveda, when we always building. Then they subdivided the house off, but they kept a little lot, and there's a small lot in there that people don't know about, that the town still owns.
But the thing is, I mean, I'm not trying to say Ben's, you know, anything about Ben,
I didn't say-
but,
you said
but to
that.
say, let's go just stick a piece of building onto the end of the building, you know, you'd be better off getting two, like that, they had the modulars at the elementary school a couple of years back. You'd be better off, you know, buying two modulars and putting them together.
But as far as the access go, I've never talked to Tom, you must have talked to somebody that has, if he would sell that out of there, because before he lived there, you don't know Benji at all, I
No.
guess, but he used to.
How old is he?
Benji? He's.
Your age.
Did he just move to North Carolina?
I don't know, did he go?
Does he have a
where-
daughter?
He go where his son go,
Alright,
there's two Benjis.
alright, maybe it's his son, but he,
Where do you used to live, on Stowe Road?
I coached his daughter in basketball.
The older Benji lives over, the street Benjamin Henry, I knew that.
I think Roberta has the right thing, we need to talk about find out what's best for the town.
It won't do her any good to get facts and figures until she knows what direction
you want
it's
to
going.
do.
Yeah.
That's right.
And those are a couple ideas I threw out. I mean, I've been talking about this for the last year, about what's the next step, what do we do?
Well, the next step is to do a plan like we had said earlier, back in November, December, or somewhere along through there, to come up with some sort of a plan with either a committee or to maybe even appoint interested citizens to another building committee, if you wanna call it that, or a study
Yeah.
committee, where you would come up with what she's asking for right now is pretty much what you could end up with the end result.
See,
I'm not saying you're gonna end up with everything that you want or I
oh
want
no,
or anything else.
it's not, it doesn't even matter what I want, it's what's in the best interest of the people of the
Of
town.
course, we all know that there's people that will never favor doing
Yeah.
anything with that
But-
building, no matter what.
But I mean, if you can go and show what the end result will be at what cost, you know, and what's in the best, it's not about what you personally want. It's about what's good for the town,
Yeah,
what
no,
works for the
It's
town.
always that way,
It
no matter
does-
what you
yeah.
do.
Yeah, you know, that building there, I think it's a huge, awesome building. But is there questions about, because the building's not being used, and now you put public safety into that building, what are the codes and what has to be done?
Well, you have to change some things, you
Yeah.
know that, 'cause you
Oh, yeah,
got
there's a load structure on the roof and,
that sheet and all that.
but on the same token, can you do that alright, can you eliminate the mold to a degree where it doesn't come back with engineering controls? Because obviously you can use engineering controls to do what, you know, that's why they have people out there. You can make any environment the way you need it. Okay, so you have your engineering controls, your structural, and then what's the cost? And then you have, okay, well, you have this is what it's gonna be. Okay, now what's the cost of, if we find a piece of land in town that the town owns, instead of buying something, and putting a police department there, how much, in emergency management, what does that cost? I mean, I think that's a very
Well,
important thing to do, but
The
it's
other
something.
thing is, and you and I both have been through this a couple of times, a couple of years anyway, as far as that building's concerned, you've got a group over here and a
Oh,
group
yeah.
over here. The problem is, can you ever find where the
Middle is,
middle point is that we can all agree on what to do or not to do
No.
as far as the building? Until there's an agreement as to that building, you're not gonna put anything there, even though you'd like to. There's 19 acres here where you could say put one up above or do this or do that, but that isn't, you still gonna have that.
the problem with the building,
Yes,
and it's the problem of an SB2 government.
yeah,
Because what,
okay, I agree with
you
that,
totally agree with that.
I do.
Whatever
Yeah,
you
always
do,
have.
whatever you do before the deliberative session,
Yeah,
whoever goes out and gets 45 people
Yes,
on their side
yes.
is gonna change whatever. The only reason why that warrant article didn't get zeroed out last year was because there was a petition article, you can't zero out a petition article. And that's the only reason why.
Well, there are people that would disagree with you on that, but that,
I think, I mean, again, you didn't see how, I mean, I can't say this person's gonna vote that way, that person's gonna vote that way. But you've seen it,
too many times.
yeah,
I don't
I'm
like-
not saying
I don't
anything
like
that you
Senate
don't
Bill
know.
2 either, but I think that the $49,000 figure that was in the budget this year for demolishing,
That was not
that
ridiculous.
was just reached up and
Oh,
put
yeah.
it in the air, probably.
That was a drive-by by a local contractor in town.
I think we should, think real hard on building two, because we got so much money tied up in building two.
Oh, yeah.
And we should think hard about that building.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think the unit should come off of that roof?
Think what? No, I do not.
Okay? There are people that do, that think
Oh.
they should be taken off of there and stored somewhere, because if nothing else,
Again, weathered.
they'll be sitting there, even though they would gain the same thing if they were running, I suppose, but.
You know, you realize how much materials we have set around here that's ready to go in building two that we've
Oh,
already
yes,
paid
I
for.
know that, I'm well aware of that. These are the things that she's asking about, as far as what plans does the town have, or can you have, that somebody's gonna end up buying. I mean, you can sit here, she
Well,
doesn't
they-
wanna sit here and waste her time making up all kinds of things, and then all of a sudden, somebody just blows it
The
off.
taxpayers voted to save the building this past year.
They did,
They did.
but,
Though we should come up with a figure, what is it gonna cost to renovate the inside that building 100%, and bring it to the town people. That's what we should do.
see, then there's gonna be the argument, other argument on the other side that says, you can't renovate that building, it's not worth renovating, you can't do it, and you know as well as I do, those are the arguments.
But-
It
But-
can be
but-
renovated.
No,
There
to-
are people that have told us that you could do it.
That's right,
To
it
ag-
can
to-
be.
To agree with Ron though, until you have a start and finish plan
Yeah.
with actual labor figures,
Yes.
and this is the completion date, this is the plan, this is when,
Yeah.
you know, with having contractors come in, this is the scope, a complete scope of work, this is gonna be the total cost. With professional labor, then you can't sell anything.
No, it's a hard thing it's a hard sell.
But I mean, but if you have that, at least you'll have that there, and then you can go and research what is the cost of sitting a new police station, and, you know, and at least you'll have two things to compare. You know, you're always gonna get hit with, that's a 60-year-old, what is that, built in 1960?
In the sixties.
Yeah, so it's a 50, it's, you're gonna always get hit with, it's a
Was it
50-year-old.
burned, once or twice?
But you're gonna get hit with, it's a 50-year-old building, it's not energy, you know, you're always gonna get hit with that, but even if it's not the most energy efficient building, there's ways to upgrade that though too, in your plan, you know.
Well, yeah, but I think that the thing that a lot of people argue is because of the fact that it was set up to be a warehouse and a maintenance shop more than anything else in the beginning, was that it's not really for a professional office building, if you wanna call it that, as such. But that's what some people argue too.
But what professional office buildings do we really have in
Well,
Ipswich?
you don't call a police department an office
Yeah,
building or
yeah.
a professional?
Yeah, but George, it's set up down there right now to be a nice police station if we
Oh,
could.
yeah, but I didn't say that I felt that way, you know how I feel, I was on that road, and on the road, building committee for, three years, whatever it was. I never went against any of those proposals, because I felt that they were necessary, but unfortunately, the majority didn't agree, but,
Yeah, but like Mike said, you get a few people together, you come to the delivery session, if they vote anything out. You know, we lost that by what, 12 votes?
yes, but Ron, that's the way the system works,
I know.
unfortunately, we don't like it, you
But-
don't like it, I don't care
but-
for it, because I think it
But,
does.
but what happened at the deliberative
jeopardize.
session also though, is when the question was posed, will this be the final cost for doing the building? There wasn't a, yes, this is all it's gonna cost,
Which
it will be
means
done.
$130,000?
Yeah.
That would have been more than sufficient to do the whole
But
building.
no one stood up and said, this,
I
there'll
thought-
be no more expense being paid.
I thought it was pretty clear,
I did too.
yeah. But anyway, in fact, the article had a little more money in there just for incidentals, if nothing
Oh,
else.
I know, I actually was involved in the article myself. I mean, it's not that I haven't been,
There you
Yeah.
were, weren't you?
yeah, I was.
I had to get your approval to get
No.
it in the warrant.
No, you did not. I was talking about perimeter drainage around the building
We
and,
were gonna do that too.
yeah, I know.
Hey, why don't we go start out working on building two, get something, bring something to the people
Well,
this next year?
Well, we can, but we can't spend any money on it this
No,
year.
but we can-
But that's what she's asking.
Yeah, I know.
Berta's asking for that, she's thinking ahead
Oh.
to
If you
next
fi-
March.
That's not true. If you find someone that donates money to the town as a gift, we can spend as much money as that person wants to donate.
That's pro and con too, according to some
But-
people, but
but-
anyway,
We should, you know, I agree with her.
if you hit this week.
We should do
the
something.
lottery,
Yeah,
Bill's sitting there doing, I say, I agree with Roberta, we should do something, bring to the people next year
Well, I
what
agree
it's
with
gonna
it too.
cost
In
to
fact, I
complete
think
that building.
one of the goals, I think in fact, was that I had stated that we should, maybe it was in the newspaper or whatever it was, but anyway, was that we should set up another committee. I don't care who they are, cross-section of people that are unbiased. They don't even have to be completely professionals in the construction business as far as that goes.
No, because,
To go out and do a comprehensive study, which was what he was trying to get with before, to see what you can or can't do. He was trying to do it for a police department, but you can do the same thing for that building. Police department can stay there, even though I kinda resent the fact that we put, what's this, the 6th year that's been there now?
Quite a few years.
Six, we put 90,000 at least in it.
How much?
So in reality, how much of a building have you bought already?
but, I mean, and I understand that. I mean, you're paying $1,800 a month,
That's right.
but you're not
5 times
paying,
18 is 90, and I think it's 6 years now, I may be wrong. In May, anyway. You went up there in 2007? When was it, 2008?
yeah, it's.
Was he up there when the ice storm? I think so.
That was 2008, yeah.
Calculator.
Yeah, it's 20,600 a year.
Calculate, I just figured it out in my head.
Yeah, it's
Maybe 5 years.
20,600 a year.
20,600 a year?
Yeah, 1,800 times 12.
No. How do you come up with that? You multiply it, right?
Multiply.
Huh? Oh, it's not 1,800, it's 15, isn't it? It's 1,500 a month.
I thought it was 18.
I always thought it was 18
I
myself.
think it's
too.
15 and 3, yeah, it's 18 total.
Yeah.
There is no 3, what 3?
There's a 300 somewhere that was added in there, so
Where is that in?
I don't know.
Yeah, I
You got
thought
that
it-
other, you got that other 100 square feet for nothing supposedly. I don't know what the 300 is, but anyway. What'd you come up with now, 18,000 something? It's 18,000 a year, it's found.
No, I got 21,
6 would be the
Yeah.
1,800, 1,500 is 18,000 a
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure it's 1,800 a month.
Well, I don't know, did you pay it? No, you didn't pay it here, did you?
But what I'm saying, I mean, would you spend $21,600 on heat and electricity in that building?
For
per year?
just heat and electricity?
Yeah, per year.
I don't know, we weren't spending that much anyway before.
No, but I'm just saying, it would, I mean, that would be a major expense is heat and electricity.
You mean, after you renovate the building?
Yeah.
After you renovate the building, we sure hope it doesn't cost us much to heat it.
Well, you're talking about putting up a police department and probably a fire department or somebody else in there.
No, emergency management you put in there.
Well, you could put all 3.
Well, I
probably.
mean, and again,
You gotta think along the lines that you're doing
I-
a safety
yeah.
complex.
yeah, and you have to make sure that the building is to code for a safety complex. That's the biggest key.
Alright, anyway, so if there are any people that agree with us and think they'd like to serve on a committee, call Roberta or have some ideas
And it's
for the
not,
future,
yeah,
let us know.
I would think that the committee would deal not only with building 2, but what is feasible for the town, its best interests for making a police station,
Yeah.
with
Well,
emergency
that
management.
was the only thing they should be thinking about anyway, what's the best interest of the town as
Yeah.
far as how to go about doing it to start with.
I don't think you wanna just be locked into one thing.
No, I'm not saying just police station either, I think that you need to do a comprehensive study of, like we were doing before, the comprehensive study of all the buildings. That committee went around to every building in town and gave input into what should or shouldn't happen.
You know, just one thing, when you do get another committee, you gotta have that committee's gotta have the support of the selectmen. If they don't, the committee's not gonna work.
Well, I thought that the committee had to support us.
In some cases, maybe.
It was 2 out of 3, right? In the beginning, it was 2 against, then the
No, I
other
mean,
one.
everybody was micromanaging the building committee all the time.
Huh?
Everybody was micromanaging everybody.
No,
You know that, George.
Well, you had two factions in town here.
Yeah, I mean, at one time they had 2 building
And it
committees,
was, they
didn't
were
they?
button heads,
They
and now
did
maybe
have to,
that's
yeah,
gone, maybe you
absolutely.
get somewhere, but that was a horror show.
I mean,
when that other group, who appointed you in the beginning? What selectman was it? David Caroline and David Lage and Dutch?
I think so.
Or what, Jim Coffey wasn't here yet, was he?
No.
And then, when Benty and Jim Coffey came on board, they had different ideas and different attitudes.
Yeah.
In fact, if Jim Coffey hadn't changed his mind, he wouldn't have had the roof units. Maybe he shouldn't have changed his mind. You spent $71,000 for roof units that you can't use. The stipulation that we would spend 70, and then Marie said, well, you spent 81,000. I said, we never spent 81,000. The motion was for 70. I don't know how it came out to $81,000, but
Need a motion for you to approve the minutes. You do
I
that.
know that. I was doing that in
Alright.
2 minutes. As long as you're not in a hurry. The Red Sox only been on for 15 minutes.
Rolling.
All right, did you read these minutes?
It doesn't matter,
Or doesn't it?
I wasn't there.
He wasn't here.
So you can't,
Oh, I'm
you can,
sorry.
you can make a motion and
I
you
make
can
a
approve it
motion,
yourself.
a motion that we accept these minutes.
Actually, you know, you have to wait till next week.
How do you feel, Ben? He says, okay, he's in favor.
Why, no, I don't have to abstain from them.
No, you don't.
Well, you should.
Hey.
You don't have to, but you should. You weren't here.
All right.
You don't know.
Save them
I
for
voted
next week.
yes.
I already signed them.
Alright.
By the way, he never called or nothing?
I don't know, that wasn't my week.
No, I know that. He didn't call you. And he promised me last week he was gonna be here. He changed his schedule.
Oh.
He wasn't gonna be there Sunday, I knew that.
Yeah, cause he had some work out of
No.
town or something.
But she went all over it. Didn't you go over that with him last week about emailing and that stuff? I thought I heard it say something. And he promised you he'd do it?
Well, he usually texts me and lets me know, but I didn't receive anything today.
No, he probably, you got another one at home?
No. I only have
That happened one time with Marie. It was her personal phone, was that what it was? Yeah, and she had left it at home. So he goes and he puts a thing on, a message
No,
on there.
I got no messages.
He put a message on there that he wasn't coming to the selectmen's meeting that night. Well, she didn't have it here with her, it was in Keene. She didn't have no clue.
You
I
know
come
what?
in there and she says, you didn't call me. That was the night I was here all alone, in fact. And, what the heck was that?
Just my.
You were, no,
I-
you had
I
said you
called,
were.
I was at a funeral.
Yeah, that's right, you were.
I was at a funeral.
So-
I mean,
Then he come back and he said, well, I gave her a message. I said,
actually, it was
Marie,
a wait.
huh?
it
I
was
said,
a
Marie said she never got a message from you, Ben. He says, what do you mean? I gave her a message. I put it on the telephone. Come to find out when she went home, she finds it on the telephone at home.
That was an accident.
George, when it's time to plant the peas, you gotta plant the peas.
All right.
No
We're all
excuse.
set. Is there any, you have anything else? You got something else? I know you do, cause you told me you did. What was it?
I went over my memos.
Your memo? All right. So we're all set then? How do we do that? We even had a
That's why 2 months ago I said we could go to every other week.
There's gonna be days when you won't. You even had a rapid discussion about building number 2 of all things. That's good.
You should
Right.
continue
We
having
still
them.
didn't give her what she wants
You'll
to know.
continue having them, and we're.
Yeah, why don't we wait till the third amigos here?
That's right, when all three of you are here, you can actually have a long discussion, decide
Yeah.
what you want.
And then you both can vote against me.
Good luck at that, getting all 3 of us here.
Have a pizza party, everybody be here.
Voting against you.
Supper, yeah.
What day is employee appreciation? You in favor of employee appreciation day, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, I think it's nice.
August sixth,
What?
August sixth.
No, I don't want it August.
It is August sixth, our birthdays, George and I have the same birthday.
Now I know how she got the job.
Yeah.
We didn't know that.
Listen to
So
her
we're
now.
going to have a big,
She's telling the whole world, she and I got the same birthday.
we do.
What a winner.
And just think she was born a year before you, George.
Yeah.
No, I think she's, many years
And
before
Robin's
me.
is the seventh and David's
Many
is.
years before.
No, hers is
Well,
the
you got
fifth.
two Leos sitting up there, wow.
That's right.
David Leo's is what, the 3rd?
Second.
My
So-
daughter's the 8th, my
So we're going
youngest.
to have an employee picnic, employee
August?
appreciation day.
Huh? August?
Yeah,
You poor character.
my wife's the 23rd.
Well,
She's
she
right on
doesn't,
the- she's
she
right
doesn't
on the
make the
cusp.
same thing that she and I are in. To go by those signs. That's wicked. bad people, they say. All right, you made a motion to what?
Nothing.
You did?
No, to adjourn.
No, you just, okay, so she can plan on doing an employee appreciation day that August or whatever.
August
She's
6th.
got her mind all
I'll
made
make a
up.
motion that you can do a employee appreciation day, August sixth.
Okay,
Do I get a second?
no,
It's for your birthday, George.
I don't need birthdays, I don't even worry about, do you worry about birthdays anymore?
Only have
You're
one
right.
birthday,
Huh?
that's the day you were born,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
it. One.
No, I'll second it just to keep you,
No, she might, that might be the break, she might decide to leave after that.
They might
If I
bring
don't
you
get
in,
employee appreciation,
they'll
then-
bring you a cake, George.
I'm in
Bring you
favor.
a big cake.
Yeah.
no, I don't need a cake.
I know you don't need one, but
George,
you're
you in
getting one.
favor?
What?
Okay.
Of
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
6? Yeah, that's fine.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye.
Just jerk?
Reluctant?
No.
Not yet. Wait a minute, did you go through these times?
Yep.
Did you find anything wrong with any of them?
No?
You sure?
Yep.
That's good. Okay, I think we've covered everything already, wow. How do we do this?
Now,
What?
that non-public,
This?
is that something that needs to be done?
No.
Doesn't have to be, if you
No,
guys
unless you
want
want,
to go to
you
three.
want, when,
Why don't we
at
see if
some point you
we have a
gotta,
board, yeah,
we have to elect, appoint a,
building inspector.
No,
We
next
do.
week you will be going into non-public anyways for the tax
So,
deed.
yeah, so why don't we wait till
You
that?
can do it then.
If it's only two of us, then we'll do it then.
only 2 of us, why are you planning on that again? Oh boy.
I don't plan on
That's
anything.
that's the last time we're gonna meet every week, then it's gonna be June 11th after that. 11th?
Yep,
All right,
Now we can meet
that's the
every-
night we have the hearing with,
yep,
Yes.
Southwest Regional. If we want, we can go every 3 weeks,
yeah, okay.
once a month.
You think you can get 3 selectmen at that time? Hmm? Never mind. I didn't say that, did I?
I think if you spread them out, it might be easy to get 3.
You know, if you had a board of 5, maybe you could get 3, right? That's what they do in Winchester. They got 5 selectmen. Milford's got 5 selectmen.
Alright, I'll make a motion, we adjourn,
I guess I have to second that, don't I?
unless you got something else.
I can't think of it. It probably is, but I can't think of anything right now. Oh, where'd Beth Ann go? She waiting for us?
She's home.
What does she want? She tell you?
Yeah, she came in, she came in to get her health officer document, I believe, I'm not really sure what else.
The one that was sent a year ago? Is she planning sending it?
Yeah, she said she had a copy of it, so she was sending it.
Well, she said she sent it before. We signed that way back when.
Oh, I know.
And then the state called Roberta and said they don't have it. You still wanted to appoint her as health officer, I never asked you that.
Do you have someone else?
No.
She does a
I
good
don't
job,
want-
she does a
I
good
don't
job.
want the job, I've done it before.
She does a good job, right?
I guess so.
And that's all that matters.
Oh, the other thing was that, did she say anything about the place down there on Temple Road?
She didn't talk to me about it at all.
All right, just so you know that, in fact,
11?
no,
Alright,
next door, across the road, the old blacksmith shop where that dumpster with all the trash is. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
yeah, is this something that we should do in public or not?
No, because if Mrs., what's her face, had come, the lady that complained, she would have done it in public.
Alright,
No, you're not,
alright, I just,
I don't see any reason why you can't do it in public.
alright, no, that's
But-
fine.
My question is, she didn't say anything to you about that, right? She was upset at me today because the lady came and gave me the complaint and didn't call her, basically,
Wow.
what it amounted to. What?
Alright,
So, but the one thing that, if somebody does that, you just tell them, you are the Board of Health as selectman. The 3
Yeah.
selectmen are the Board of Health. She's
Yeah.
just the health officer,
Yeah.
even though she's appointed by the state. So, there is a bunch of trash in that dumpster down there, overflowing actually. I don't know what the story is. I know who lives there and so forth, so we're gonna have to investigate it. Otherwise, she's gonna be sitting here next week in front of you. She told me that.
well, did you tell Beth Ann?
No, Beth Ann called me because somebody had already called her and told her that the the lady came. Somebody from here.
Oh.
And she said, you tried to call me twice. I said, I haven't tried to call you. She said, what are you talking about? You tried to call me twice. I said, Beth Ann, I haven't tried to call you. So I don't know where that came from. Anyway, she knows about it, yes.
So will she be investigating it, seeing that she's the health officer?
If she doesn't, I will.
Alright. I don't have a problem with that, but I mean,
Oh, the other thing is, do you have any problem with her having a deputy?
deputy health officer?
Yeah. Do what?
How is she gonna pay for it?
I don't know.
There's no money in the
There's no
budget
money
this year,
for it.
so it
No.
may wait until next year, but
I see, the thing is,
Here's the story.
Yeah.
Roberta thinks that she should have a deputy so that in case of,
when she's not here.
when she's not
if
around.
she's on
so forth.
vacation or she's out of town, or you need something
Unless you wanna
done,
do it.
that's what, most towns have a
You wanna do a
deputy.
health officer?
No, I don't. I actually have a career now. It's
So
like, come
anyway,
here on Tuesday night and
we-
listen to you.
We did tell her that, but she wasn't happy about it for some unknown reason. I don't know.
Tell her
why.
what? That she couldn't have one till next year?
What, but she, no, I
Oh,
told her that she was gonna have a deputy and she's,
oh, okay, she
Why?
didn't add, she didn't request one.
no,
That was my
Roberta,
recommendation,
Roberta
was,
recommended that she have one,
Alright,
okay?
now,
Because I guess, do you have a deputy over there? Is that what it is?
most towns have deputy
Yeah.
health,
alright,
and the state had sent me the deputy health officer form, that's how it
There is
came
a,
out.
Okay.
there is
So I
This
a,
asked
is-
George about it.
there is a
Okay.
place for a deputy if you
Yes.
want one,
yeah, no, and that's fine, I'm just saying, if there's a need for one, yeah, but,
Well, see, I guess that I'll look at it in this way, all right. And, no,
you know what?
lately, I don't know,
I would rather discuss this and probably,
you should be
Non-
not.
Positions don't have to be
but
non-public,
you're discussing maybe someone's performance at their job,
no, positions don't have to
Okay.
be non-public, just I mean, if you're gonna start talking about Beth Ann, yeah, but
and
you're
that's,
just talking
I
about.
just,
But the
position.
job,
I don't have anything to say about Beth Ann, but I know where this
the
could
problem,
possibly go.
here's the problem. In a nutshell, the
Yeah.
relationship between this office and the health officer as such hasn't been as good as it could have been, okay? Now, hopefully,
I agree with that.
Roberta here is gonna improve. The only thing that I've stressed, or tried to stress with Beth Ann, or with, Robin and Roger, I guess is the other one that sometimes get health problems and so forth, is if they get health calls for a health officer, that they convey, whatever, to, just so she'll know, she's
Oh,
the
yeah.
one that's supposed to be running this
No,
office.
and I
It's not
agree,
you, me, or anybody else.
I totally agree with that.
Okay, and unfortunately, at times it hasn't been as good as it should, but we're trying to reiterate
Yeah.
that that's the way it has to work.
No,
Just for her.
yeah, no, it should, because obviously, she's the town administrator.
That's right.
Administrating the town's business for the
Exactly.
Board of Selectmen.
Yes.
That's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, if we have employees that are employed in the town that can't, I mean, do we have to make that a policy?
I don't think so, I think it will
No,
happen.
I think it's gonna happen now.
Going back to a case last year
Mhm.
with a gentleman, you know, I talked to the town administrator about a problem, and she had no idea what was going on. And, I was very upset about that I couldn't get any answers about it, because I mean, obviously you have a health officer that's dealing with public health,
That's right.
you know, so, for me, I'd like to have a conduit so I can get the information.
Well, that's the reason why I've told them that she has to be the connection between
Yeah.
this board and
All of
everybody in this office
Yeah,
and department heads,
yeah,
highway, police, et cetera.
yeah, fire,
Just, they don't have to come down here every day and just say, well, we're gonna go here, or we're going down to Shot Stop for coffee or something. That's not what I'm saying, but
No.
if something happens, like in the past, there were some accidents or some things that happened, and you, like you said, you could come in here and she didn't know anything
What was
about
going
it.
on,
That's not the way it's supposed to work.
or if there was a situation that we already knew about, the next steps, you know, there has to be communication.
On the other
Those
hand,
next
it's
steps.
gotta work both ways. I think that she's got a good working relationship with department heads right now, as far as I'm concerned.
No, it's early though.
Listen to you. Anyway, no, so I think that they're all working together, and that's the key to this thing is that sometimes, maybe before, I'm sure, many times in the past, over the years,
Yeah.
not just with the town
No.
administrator, with other people too, but.
I don't have a problem, with a deputy. I mean, the only thing is how, now you're figuring, now you have someone, how do you compensate them and stuff like that?
Well, I don't think there's probably gonna be that much compensation, but
There wouldn't be that much of any, there wouldn't be much
the
compensation.
person that was recommended is Mary Fortier, okay? So, just so you know, you can keep it, and if you have other desires, and we'll go into an executive session on non-public next time around, or whenever, if you wanna discuss it further.
Yeah, no,
All right. We can't get into the personal aspects of, as far as the president.
that's why I was saying about non-public.
Yeah, I know. All right.
Alright, I made my motion, oh, wait a second, Mr. Costin's raised
Somebody
his-
recommended Mary, did Mary want the job?
Yeah, she's already been asked.
Oh, okay, cause I don't know,
She talked to it today.
yeah, that's,
If she was interested, we haven't actually, I mean, it
Yeah.
hasn't been offered, just if she had any interest in,
She's
there might be other
interested in
people
it.
who are interested
Yeah.
too.
If there's other people.
you gotta
I
take,
can't-
personalities into consideration too, you know, like, you know.
And there may be other people who
Yeah,
are
I mean,
interested, and Beth
that-
Ann may have somebody too.
And that's the whole thing, I mean, one thing I find out that when
You didn't want this?
you have people recommending people, you have the people in the public saying, hey, wait a second here, is this being made for someone? No, I know, I'm just telling you what, I would be thinking, reading my paper at home and saying this person got appointed to that, you know what I mean? That would be would come up in my head,
Maybe I'll need this tomorrow.
and it has nothing to do with Mary, Mary's a good person.
Yeah,
They don't even care about me anymore.
What'd you say?
Nothing,
I'm
I
listening.
made a motion to adjourn.
I heard you.
one more comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Browns on Lower Pratt Pond Road
Yeah.
are very appreciative of your taking care of them. Very nice,
Oh, we
George. Thank
did.
you, and
What we
Thanks,
did was,
Peter.
went out and bought some bags.
I know, $36 worth.
How do you know what the price was?
I know,
Well, you know.
George, I'm the man on the street,
Yeah, I don't even
and you
know.
were fixing the street, right?
As long as they're happy, we're happy.
Good, very nice, George.
And I'm sorry that it didn't get done for 3 or 4 days.
Well, it
after.
rained shortly after, so that
Well,
was.
I know
good.
that, but. What did you buy, 3 bags, was it?
2, I think.
Was it 2? It was enough to do in front of their house. and
Yeah.
That was
Spread
it.
it by hand too with one of those.
They did?
Yeah.
I don't know who went up there and did it, but I know when they did it.
Mr. Hopkins.
Mr. Hopkins? He was
Yes,
gonna be here
see.
tonight, I'm surprised he didn't. He was coming down here as a cemetery trustee to voice his opinion as far as the West Village Cemetery and Dam were concerned. I can't tell you what his opinion was, or what he was gonna say, I don't know. Anyway, I'll second your motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, adjourned at 8.